So yeah, it's the kid, trying to live, trying to exist, trying to stay alive. So guys, I know I did say that. So this is obviously going to be the Saudi Pro League because I felt we want to do a special hangout just talking about whether the Saudi Pro League could be a threat. Guys have been asking me for my view. I put out a video, but I thought let's actually put it out as a hangout. So yes, that's going to be the main topic, but because we are football news merchants, we have to react to specific massive breaking news or important news. Because shout out to Ricardo in our panel group chats because it's like, wait, Brazil are asked without a name. I said, what the hell is happening? And a shout out to Mike who sends me a video of Sadio Mane impregnating Brazil with one of his freaking goals. So we're going to talk about Brazil and the states of Brazil. And that may lead on to also talking to Germany, who also lost as well, I believe, to Colombia. And after that, we've got to talk about Ronaldo. He is in the Guinness Book of Records. He's broken yet another record. And we have to pay homage and bow down to the man himself, the big man that is Cristiano Ronaldo. So lots of stuff to get into. Then obviously after we do that, then we'll then get straight down into the Saudi Pro League and whether this is actually a massive threat to European football and so forth. So guys, remember guys, like the vid, subscribe if you're new, and please feel free to send in your super chats and your dubs. Those donations help to keep this channel growing, and they're the reason why I'm able to do this as a full-time job. So I thank you for your donation. So guys, let's just get straight into it right now. So let me just hit my stream marker right now. Where are we at? Guys, I don't think people understand what 7-1 did to Brazil. I don't think anyone does. Because this is a little tidbit that people don't really realize. Do you realize Brazil haven't beaten a European team since the 2002 World Cup final? Do you realize
No
that?
way. Wait, H, you're lying.
Excellent. Please, streets, go back. Look through the world. Since Brazil have not beaten a European team since the 2002 World Cup final.
In the knockouts, right?
Against
Yeah,
US,
I was going to say in the knockouts. So yes, okay. Brazil have not beaten a European team in the knockouts since the 2002 World Cup final. You see, I don't want to use this as maybe a get-out clause for Neymar, but we have to come in and accept that this is one of the most disgraceful and weakest and embarrassing excuses for a Brazil national team that we've ever seen. And anybody who is thinking or hoping and praying that Brazil are going to somehow say what's up in 2026, it ain't happening. Because if, and I told you guys before the World Cup, if you're trying to sell me on Richarlison being Brazil's main striker, you're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. Now, I thought you could at least beat Croatia. Now, you would have lost to Argentina, but I think you could have at least beaten Croatia. But I don't want this to be a get-out thing for Neymar, but if somebody would want to make an argument like our friend Just Best in that Neymar is unlucky that he was born in an era that is arguably one of Brazil's weakest ever eras that I've ever seen, you may say, maybe you've got a point. Because even if it's a friendly, I believe that was on Brazil's home soil. On a home soil in Brazil, to get beaten by Senegal 4-2, and to allow Sadio Mane to score a goal like that because you don't have Neymar, that is beyond embarrassing. And I'm sorry, we're in the twilight zone. We're now living in a world where Brazil ain't it. We're living in a world where Brazil are now getting beat by Argentina in a Copa America final on home soil. That's the world that we're living in. Ricardo, talk to me. What has happened to Brazil, man?
Brazil, I've said in the past that Neymar hasn't been blessed with the great generation. He's been with a few great players, your Casemiros, an elder,
Vini.
with an elder Dani Alves, with Thiago Silva was quality, but as a unit, they suck. Like, I see it all the time. Everybody's like, they don't have a striker. Richarlison this, Richarlison that. Bro, they have played without a striker since not even since Ronaldo, maybe 2000 and because I went to the 2004 Copa America final and I remember they had Adriano and Luis Fabiano. I think it was Luis Fabiano, but those two were quality strikers. They were
Luis
good.
Fabiano was a good striker. He was a good striker.
By no means were they in the level of Ronaldo, but they were still quality. They were worthy of being Brazil's striker. But they have been with us for over 10 years now, and they just keep lying on this excuse that
you recorded your mic again.
Bro, what the fuck, man? Is it better?
Okay, just make sure that the echo cancellation is off and then go for it.
Okay, anyways. They've been for over a decade about not having a striker, and they're still in this position. Honestly, I don't get why they even complain at this point. They should have made way. And I like Vinicius. I think he's a great player. Yeah, the one thing about Vinicius, man, I'm still waiting for him to do something for Brazil. He can't. I mean, look.
No, Ricardo. Yeah, something's wrong with your mic. You still sound like you're in a submarine, bro.
Hold on.
Okay, so see, now it sounds better. It sort of comes in and out, comes in and out.
Is it better now?
Keep talking.
Okay. Anyways, with Vinicius, it just.
You see, now we can hardly hear you.
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, it used to be. Must be something wrong with your site. So wait, so you're using your computer mic?
No, I'm using my Snowball. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I get Vinicius is young. He's 22, I think, or something like that. But every time he plays for Brazil, he doesn't do anything. I'm sorry. We're waiting for this guy to finally arrive, and he's just never arriving. Now, maybe Rodrigo is probably better. I don't know. As good as Vinicius and all these new guys for Brazil are, I hate to say it, they're not at the level of Neymar. I know Neymar hasn't accomplished anything with. I know, Neymar himself hasn't actually accomplished anything with Brazil either. But at least when you watch Brazil, you can get excited about watching Neymar. If Neymar's not playing, bro, Brazil is boring as hell to watch.
And remember, Brazil was never a team that solely relied on one player. Yes, Ronaldo was a star. You had Romario. You had Rivaldo. Yes, Romario was a star. You still had Bebeto. Even when Pele was the guy, most guys say, "Oh, Garrincha was probably better, if not even more talented than Pele." So, we've reached a point where are you saying it's Neymar or boss? No, that's not how Brazil works. Yeah, Brazil have a superstar, but we go to watch Brazil because Brazil have a whole bunch of guys. And if your striker is Richarlison, I'm sorry, that ain't Brazil.
Yeah, I'm saying it's Brazil shouldn't be dependent on Neymar, but the reality is that they are. It seems like this team only has magic. This team only has inspiration, plays well when Neymar plays. And if we're going to keep it a bean, that Copa America they won in 2019, that game against Argentina, if anybody remembers it.
That was a wild game. That
was a dodgy game. Maybe they didn't want Argentina to go to the final and lose again. I don't know. But anybody who watched that tournament knows that Brazil got away with it there. And that was the one without Neymar. Look, this Brazil, I just get embarrassed because before Messi even existed, I was the biggest Brazil fan. And just seeing them where they are now, man.
No. It ain't Brazil, man. Actually, talk to me while Ricardo escapes from the submarine, bro.
Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Okay. It's the country, bro. It's the fans. Like, the expectation, the pressure doesn't exist anymore with Brazil. There's not an expectation.
Whoa, no. The expectation is still there. It's just that the players are just crap.
No, I disagree with that.
No, but yes, you would. If a country has won 5 World Cups and has been seen for such a long time as you are the precipice and you're the premier of football and so forth, that pressure will always be there.
That pressure is there with me. That pressure is there with Ricardo. That pressure is there with you.
And it's there with the Brazilians. Of course, it's there with the Brazilians.
I don't think so. I think the generation of Brazil nowadays, it's not the same what it was back then. Like back then, it was. The world would have ended if Brazil didn't do anything in terms of the World Cup. It was the World Cup a bust. Like the superstars back then, either you were as good as the World Cup, you was as good as a World Cup winner. It was that simple. They didn't care about the talent you had, all that stuff. It was about winning the World Cup. That's all that matters. And I think because of, in my opinion, the lack of that pressure. Like the pressure of you must win the World Cup has I think when you don't have that pressure in the team, then the team collapses. I genuinely believe that, because for me, there is no excuse why the Brazilian Federation have not hired a new manager. This whole
well they're saying it's an Ancelotti pretty much so.
Let comprehend that they're willing to go without the manager until 2024, when there's 2 years left of the 2026 World Cup. What kind of preparation is that for a team as big, as grand?
No. Yes, but you missed the point I said at the start, which is that I don't think people really understand what 7-1 did to Brazil. I think it has done not irreparable damage, but it has done some serious damage to Brazil and their psyche. Because I just think what that did and the manner in which it's happened, I don't think Brazil has recovered from that. They haven't. And I think that's why they've sort of lost themselves, they've lost their identity. Because my thing, though, is you're now going to a stage where, is Jogo Benito the way to play? Do we now go defensive? Like, the fact that Brazil are thinking to bring Ancelotti, I think that's a failure. I've said this and I've said this again. There's never been a country that has won a World Cup without a manager from that country.
I agree.
It's never happened. So my thing is that, I'm sorry, Brazil, you will only succeed with a Brazilian. You can get the best managers in the world and so forth. The beauty of international football is you have to understand the culture of the football and the culture of the team. And even if you understand the culture of the team, you're going to get beat by a better team who understands the culture a lot better.
But Brazil has been failing even before the 7-1.
No, Kenny, yeah, no, but 7-1 is different from losing to Netherlands 2-1. That's different from losing to France 1-0. Like 7-1 is 7-1. You got dismembered and destroyed on home soil.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. Actually, Ricardo said something, and it's interesting because as much as I disagree with, I think that's a problem.
Well,
I think as long as Neymar is the star player for Brazil, Brazil will be mediocre. The reason why I say that is because I think the talent level and the quality, individual quality that Brazil are used to in terms of when they won the World Cup is not there. So the fact that they focus on Neymar and trying to build the team around Neymar, it doesn't work, especially in today's game.
What else are you supposed to do if you've got guys like Richarlison and Anthony in your team?
See, that's the thing. It's not about the individual. It's about the team. You build the best team. You don't build.
No. But yes, yeah. If we've now realized that Vini, as good as he is, he's not yet showed up for Brazil. Rodrigo, yeah, he is what he is. Anthony ain't good. Richarlison is not a Brazilian. What are you supposed to do?
No, actually, there's no excuse. That team they had this World Cup was good enough. If you compare that team to that,
wait, hold on, no, Kenny. According to you,
I think it was their tactic.
Because I speak for myself, Kenny. I speak for myself. When you guys were saying, Brazil are favorites, I said, no, they're not. No, they're not, because I said, I'm sorry. If your striker is Richarlison, no, you're not.
No, it was.
You might be
and you can go back to those things that we had when you guys said, Brazil, I said, I'm sorry. Please remember, go back to the Hangouts and go back to the live discussion before the World Cup. I said, I am not putting Brazil as favorites if Richarlison is your main striker. I'm sorry.
Wait,
No.
SM.
SM.
Yeah, About the whole Brazil thing. Like, yeah, okay, they don't have the best team. Like, they don't have the best, even for their own standards. But Brazil against Croatia, come on, like, most people feel Brazil should go through, and they were supposed to. Let's not act like Neymar didn't drag them out in the final minutes and actually scored the goal to put them through, only for the team to collapse. So no, you can't blame this on Neymar because Neymar is playing with.
No, wait, hold up. Who is blaming this on Neymar? No one is blaming it on him.
No, because people say, "Oh, Neymar's failed with Brazil." It's like, well, yeah, I failed.
But see, Essen, here's the thing.
Yes, failed.
I'm sorry. At the end of the day, he has failed. Like, let's just be real. Because you see, history is without context. You win, you lose.
That is true.
You win, you lose. It's like if because people will say like, so guys who saw the final were like, well, Inter actually ran them close. Lukaku picked it up, but no. All history will remember is Man City won a treble and they beat Inter Milan 1-0 in the UCL final. There's no context to history. It's all just winners and losers. So all people remember is that Neymar never won a World Cup for Brazil.
No.
Can I speak?
Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm AK then Yasa. AK.
Firstly, on the Brazil thing. Firstly, shout out to Africa. Brazil lost to Senegal before they lost to Morocco. So
wow. Wait. Also,
wow.
Wait, were they playing in Brazil?
They were playing in Portugal. In Portugal.
Okay, Portugal.
Oh, okay.
Because they played the previous game in Spain, so they played this.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, so I think here's the issue with Brazil. I mean, I look at Neymar, and yes, okay, you have Vinicius, you have Rodrigo, you have a donkey up top. You have a bunch of Energizer bunnies in midfield, the likes of Joe Wellington and Paqueta. These guys aren't Brazilian midfielders. These guys aren't, this midfielders with press resistance, with skill, with the ability to beat players on the dribble, the passing. These guys are runners. These are running merchants. When did Brazil develop running merchants and go away from, the type of midfielders, the Zicos, the Socrates? These are flair midfielders that Brazil used to produce, like, basically all the time. Now they're producing they're producing these guys who don't nothing but doing third man runs into the box and doing shuttle runs to win the ball back defensively. That's the reason why. Neymar has to, every time I watch Brazil with Neymar is a third midfielder because nobody other than him can actually drive the ball past midfield. You don't want Neymar.
So do you agree with Yasser's assertion that they shouldn't build it around Neymar, they should build it around the team?
See, the problem is Neymar is now, 31? How many years do you have left with Neymar?
Okay, he's 31, and the people who believe that he can win a World Cup in 2020 to 26.
He's not.
I don't even know, because the problem here
Wait, what do you mean by you don't know? It's not happening. It's done. It's finished.
Most likely, it's probably not happening.
No, it's
no. There's no most likely. His last chance was this World Cup. It's not happening. So you guys can keep dreaming. A 33, 34-year-old Neymar isn't motivated enough to win a World Cup in 2026 with 48 teams. No.
The biggest problem is Brazil since 7-1, since 2002, they've stopped playing the Brazilian way of football, and that has seeped into the players. Why are they producing these running merchants? It's because they want to Europeanize their football. They want to play the whole 4-3-3, 4-2-3, when press as a group, win back the ball, press as a group, play direct. What have we known Brazil as? The team that plays football the most beautiful way. The team that's based on the players rather than actual.
And also, to add to that, AK, you cannot beat the Europeans at their own game.
Exactly.
No.
You play the Brazilian way because that's the thing that's gotten you the most success. You don't play European way because the rest of Europe plays the European way. That's the point of the World Cup. It's every team with different footballing cultures.
You bring your own culture to it
and sees which one is the best. And that's the problem. These guys have completely abandoned their culture, completely abandoned the way they play, and are looking at Europeans to save them.
Because I mean, AK, you're speaking to many facts because I'm sorry, I look at Brazil and remember, when you look at the World Cup, it was always like when Brazil couldn't play. When Brazil couldn't play. Because everybody was like, Brazil, they play football the way football is supposed to be played. Shout out to Pep, shout out to TikTok, so shout out to all this stuff. Brazil is always like, this is the neutral team. This is the footballing team. And Brazil are there to like, aha. And I think that, and you see, this speaks to a larger point. And maybe we're going to have a discussion because we mentioned this a bit on the members' hangouts. Because I'm going to say that Pep Guardiola is partly to blame in what I believe has in taking entertainment out of football.
I said this.
And the decline of football, but nobody wants to have the discussion. Nobody wants to have the discussion of like because nobody is ready for the discussion of like the quality of football has fallen down and declined seriously, and that is aligned with Pep's philosophy and Brazil being non-existent.
Brazil were not playing Joga Bonito in 06 and 02. Like, come on, let's stop lying to ourselves.
Since 02 they stopped playing Joga Bonito.
Can I speak on this?
Okay, wait. So let me come back to yes and then to Money Miss. Yes.
No. I think AK. I don't disagree with anything that AK have said, but the issue is it is too late. The Brazilian players are all that play for European clubs. Like the issue is back then, the Brazilian, like the Brazil as in Brazil football was at a different level than it is now. It's just the truth, guys. The fact that you have all these players, Rafinha, Anthony, all these guys play in European teams, they're modernized Brazilians. You're not going to get the Joga Bonito and all that stuff. You're not
but yes, do you know why I push back? Also, Rivaldo was at Barcelona. Ronaldinho, I think was it? I think it was at PSG.
It was at Inter.
No.
Yeah, he was at PSG. Yeah.
So Dino was at PSG. Ronaldo was just about to move from Inter Milan to Real Madrid. So my thing that it's not really about where they play. I just think it's just about the talent that exists. The fact of the matter is that outside of Neymar and Vini, do we want to have a real conversation? Do we have a real conversation?
Yeah.
Is Vini as good as Romario? Is Vini as good as Rivaldo?
No.
Is Vini as good as Dino?
No,
because here's the thing. Vini is just the best of what exists now. Vini ain't Romario. He ain't Dino.
But here's the thing that I feel like the issue is it reflects the football today though. I think like you're comparing,
and that's the problem because
the thing is,
I almost feel crazy saying this, but we praise Vini for today, for now. Are we comparing Vini to Romario, to Rivaldo? Because see, who was Ronaldo's wingman? It was Rivaldo or Dino. If Neymar's wingman is Rodrigo and Vini, that ain't gonna cut it, bro.
But
that's not cutting it. Sorry. Yes.
Here's a solution. Here's a solution for HH that wants the old Brazil back. The moment a Brazilian player that plays in Brazil starts off with Rafinha that plays for Barcelona, that's when you get your Brazil back. When you actually give the Brazilian talent that has grown and been nurtured in Brazil to play the national team, that's when you get your Joga Bonito.
Wait, so hold on.
Rafinha?
What? Rafinha?
Wait, hold on. Wait, Yassi, please, I hope you're not repping Rafinha. You mean the Rafinha for Brazil?
No.
So, Barcelona?
I don't know if my internet cut out. I said the moment you give a Brazilian player, a young Brazilian player that plays in Brazil, that have been nurtured in Brazil, that's playing for Santos or whoever, the moment you give him an opportunity to play ahead of a Rafinha that plays for Barcelona, that's what I think. Then you
but yes, it goes back to the original point. When Brazil won the World Cup in 2002, Rivaldo was at Barca for several years. Ronaldo was at Inter, I think, for several years. So my thing that it's two things. It's the talent and it's how football has changed. Because the difference is when Rivaldo was at Barcelona, that was his team, and Rivaldo was allowed to do whatever he wanted. The difference now is everybody is micromanaged, and everybody is now having to play into a system. And I believe that based on how football has changed, how there are no more luxury players, we do not have a world that can fit in a Dino. It is now bred what has now happened now. But the issue is this, though. As much as you say this, that's Argentina. When you look at how Argentina played, that is how Argentina play. And when you look at what Di Maria was doing, what Enzo was doing, that's how they play. So there's no excuse. So with all the systems and everything, Argentina won the World Cup playing how Argentina play.
That's
look at Enzo.
Most likely.
Look at Enzo and Julian Alves. They played in the same team. They played for River Plate.
Yeah, but quickly, we need to stop.
No, it's about talent.
We need to stop comparing them to back in the days. Compare them to the actual competition they're playing right now. if you compare them to back in the days, yeah, obviously they have less talent. Yeah, that's cool. When I'm comparing to the talent of nowadays, the other teams, there's no way they should have underperformed the way they've underperformed for the past like 10.
No,
past
but
10 to,
no, but
compared
Kenny,
to the
my
rest
thing
of the
though
teams.
is that when you look at, okay, even if we look at it now and so forth, are we really saying that Brazil were truly the best team at that World Cup, that they really should have won? Because Kenny, let's break it down. Okay, Neymar is spoken for. Vini has never shown up for Brazil. Are we now rating Rodrigo? Don't you even dare open your mouth to talk about Richarlison. Who the hell is Paqueta?
No, he played well. No, but the thing is, for me, it's 2 World Cup. That 2018, they played very well. They lost to Belgium. They should have probably, for me, they played the best football at that. Let's not during the group.
But they lost. They lost and they lost deservedly.
During the whole group stage and the last game before Croatia, everyone was saying, "Oh, didn't they beat? Who did they beat? Like
South Korea.
They beat them like 7
South
times."
Korea.
No, it doesn't matter when you win that last game. The way they played, and the way they beat this team, there's no excuses. Here's my thing. Though, sorry. No, but okay. Shout out to Neymar. He got the goal. But I'm sorry. That was a Croatia team over the hill. This wasn't the 2018. This was a Croatia team where this is the end of their cycle. So you being the so-called favorites, it shouldn't take you more than 90 minutes to put away a Croatian team that is over the hill. You're not going to blame. Excuse me. You're not going to make me blame talent. You're not going to tell me they didn't have enough talent to beat that. Like, I'm sorry. There's no excuses. At the end of the day, the players didn't.
Kenny, see, for me, I'm in two months because at one hand, you should beat them and everything. But Kenny, on the other hand, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't rate you. Kenny, I'm not rating Richarlison.
But
I'm not rating Richarlison. As Ricardo just said, Luis Fabian is maybe like at the bottom scale of like recent strikers. If we discount Fred and thingy, Luis Fabian is 5 times the striker that bloody bozo Richarlison is.
Who did Croatia have up front? That's some
Kramaric.
Come on, Kramaric, man. Man's playing off. Even for his own club, he's not even playing striker. He's playing in midfield. Let's stop.
Bro, no. I don't care whether it's hard or things to beat Croatia. If you are Brazil and you are as good as you feel you are, you should be beating.
I
am not going to live in a world where, oh man, Croatia are hard to beat. I'm sorry. In a normal world, Brazil puts away Croatia. With all due disrespect.
That shows you the problem, though. Look at that Croatia midfield. That midfield itself is more technical than whatever crap Brazil had. Look at Spain's midfield. Look at France's midfield. Look at England's midfield.
But they didn't dominate them.
No, even
Croatia didn't dominate Brazil.
Brazil played 2 number 10s.
So this was funny because see, I'm seeing this just right now. Guys say, "Oh, the Croatia," and that's the problem. We are now living in a world where, hey man, respect Croatia. You know these guys are tough. I'm sorry, if you're Brazil, you beat Croatia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I did that with all due respect and so forth. I'm sorry. If you're freaking Brazil, who are supposed to be at the top of the very top, you beat Croatia in 90 minutes. You beat them in 90 minutes.
These guys here had Perisic playing.
Come on, bro.
Sorry, man, this is excuses.
Modric had his fucking piss back, man. Come on, bro.
I'm sorry, man. This is excuses for this guy, man.
But Kenny, let's be honest. Neymar I think Neymar is getting off way too lightly here. Because to be honest, the one time Brazil actually won something in this dry spell in terms of Brazilian football was the moment he didn't play, and they figured out a way to win. Like
referee tax.
Wait. So hold on. So before I come to money miss, I think you know what is stuff. Football has now changed now. You see, growing up, there is an order of power. With all due respect, if you're Brazil, you're looking for where's France, where's Argentina, where are the big dogs? You're not worrying about Croatia, but we're now living in a world where Croatia are now a tough team. And I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, okay, but you see, I'm sorry. It is weird. Hate me all you want, abuse me all you want. It is not. I find it crazy that Brazil not being able to beat Croatia should not be seen as a big thing. I'm sorry, because what's going about freaking Brazil, bro. So when I go to Money Mason, I go to Money Mason.
I think the problem
Shout out
for
Neymar.
thanks Yasser. No, I think the problem for Brazil it goes deeper than the 7-1. It's the production of their players over the past like 15, 20 years. Like they have two types of players. They're either technically not good enough, but then the ones who are good enough, they're show ponies. Like they just do skills for the sake of doing skills, and they're not actually doing anything. No, because people think like just because Ronaldinho could flick the ball over someone's head, that's how every Brazilian plays. No, they weren't. R9 had step overs and nutmegs, but they were to go and do something. Rivaldo had a chop. He just had a chop that he always used to use when he was in trouble. But like you look at the players today, just because Ronaldinho used to do these amazing skills, bro, he's a rare breed. Like, I know Brazilians have skills, but not all the Brazilians were doing what Ronaldinho was doing. Like, what's it called? You look at Anthony, he does this skill where he spins in a circle, expecting the defender to like fall over or something. Like, it's not doing anything. Even Paqueta, like, he does this skill where like he stands on the ball and he sort of does this like roll chop to step over it and nothing happens. Like, it just feels like they're not actually coaching the players.
And also, you see, Moneymates, does anyone fear Brazil now? Does anyone fear
Honestly,
Brazil?
No.
Honestly,
If we now go to the 26 World Cup and like you now have Brazil in the knockouts, are you afraid of Brazil? No.
I think they're a good team, but they're not like
basically back in the day, if you're facing Brazil, oh God, we're facing Brazil. Oh, okay, it's like okay, it's Brazil, and even when you see those yellow jerseys, there's a fear factor coming into you. So and that is the saddest thing. That is the saddest thing where Brazil's fear factor, it's gone. It's gone.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Do you think? I think maybe it's a lot bigger than Brazil, because if you think about it, you can say the similar thing about Italy. Germany. You look at international football as a whole, the big so-called big teams, they're looking so mean.
It's changing. No. But yes, with the World Cup, do you know what the World Cup taught us? That gap has now shortened right now. Japan and Morocco. Just look at what Japan and Morocco did. So when you look at what Japan and Morocco did, I think, and this goes to what I've been saying for such a long time, we are living in a world of systems. You see, when we lived in a world full of individuals, I'm sorry, in Croatia, Japan, and Morocco, you're not beating Brazil or Italy. Because Brazil, Italy, and these guys have 2 or 3 guys that will just change the game and just win the game. So you can play as well as you want. Those 3 individuals will decide the game. But if we're not living in a world of systems rather than individuals, everybody now has a chance. So for Japan and Morocco, they're like, we can beat anybody. Because if Japan and Morocco, like, as long as we have a good, solid system, we're good. We're good. You know?
So you know what Pep said? I just saw a quote the other day about Pep said, I'm a trouble winner because a striker missed from 3 yards out.
Yeah. Simple. Yeah. It's like if you don't have the individuals, what else can you do? Wait, let me just take some quick dubs from guys, man. I'll come to so okay. All right. Wing, I found HH's elementary school yearbook photo. That ain't me, bro.
Is that you? Is that you?
That's not me, bro. That's not me. I wasn't wearing. I wouldn't be allowed to wear shades in school, man. Come on. Miguel Rabines. One has to ask themselves why Argentina produces better managers than Brazil. Oh, and by the way, Nick Jackson won a penalty for that 4th Senegal goal. You see, no. Here's the thing, though, Miguel. It's not about the manager. Scolari. Are we saying Felipe Scolari is a great manager?
No.
You don't need to be a great manager to win a World Cup. Are we now saying that if Scaloni goes into club football, he'll now win a UCL or Europa League? Not necessarily. No. Like, international managers are not necessarily amazing managers. You just need to understand the team and execute. Southgate has taken England to a World Cup semi and the Euro final. Southgate's an amazing manager, but he's just the right man for this team. You don't need an amazing manager for international football. You just need the right manager that works for the right team. Scaloni is not freaking Pep.
But don't you think that because Argentina have so many different men and so many different quality managers that they're like producing, that creates a style of football unique to the nation. The best manager in Brazil is not even Brazilian; he's Portuguese, and he's playing a pragmatic.
No, but see, no. AK, here's, but boys, you know what? I now have to now.
Generally speaking, Argentines are far more passionate about football than Brazilians are. People just think just because Brazil is a 5-time World Cup winner.
You can't just say it with something like that, Ricardo.
Bro, if you
it is true.
Wait, hold on, let him land.
If you've actually met Brazilian people, I promise you, they're not always on the beaches of Rio de Janeiro doing backflips while juggling the ball upside down. Like, they're passionate about it, but there's like 150 million Brazilians. Do you think football is the only major sport in that country? Like, bro, there's volleyball, there's NBA, there's basketball. Like, Argentina literally breathes football. Like, their league is. I'm not saying the league is, but the only reason why the Brazilian league is actually better than Argentina is because they have significantly more money pumped into that league. But historically speaking, who has been the most successful team in South America? You would think it'd be Brazil. They actually haven't been. It's Argentine teams. Like, this people think just because Brazil has produced some of the greatest players of all time, then that by far means that the country just lives and breathes football. They don't. They just have a far bigger pool than every other South American country.
No. But I think that there's also a level of arrogance and expectation, because I think Ricardo may not be completely wrong. Because Brazil have an expectation of, hey, we're the 5-time winners and so forth, Brazil. It doesn't mean that, we are now actually super passionate about it. It's just that we just happen to be a team who won the World Cup 5 times and happen to produce some of the best players of all time. Pele, Ronaldo, Dino, and everything. But to his point, though, is that, look, I now have to now peg back the points from what Miguel just said, because if we're saying we live in a world of systems now, maybe the manager is even much more important. Mm-hmm. Because, see, Scolari could have won in O2 because all I need are 3 individuals. Because I know that Rivaldo will decide the game, Dini will decide the game, Ronaldo will decide the game. Like, against England, Dini and Rivaldo, they decided that's that game. England played well, but Dini and Rivaldo just decided that game. Semi-final, Ronaldo decided the game. In the final, Ronaldo decided the game. But in today's world, you need more than that to pretty much decide a game. You need a few more intangibles to now say what's up and fully decide the game. So maybe what see, and this way it gets scary. And this is a very scary thing now. Can Brazil win in this world of systems?
No.
I don't think they can.
If they have the right coach, yes.
Kenny, that's my crazy take. Even if they have the best tactician, I think Brazil, by nature, need those individuals.
I
don't think Brazil can win in a systemized, technical way.
No, but it's not about being the best manager. Like, for example, Deschamps for France is not the best manager. These guys get criticized every time the way he plays. But the guy performs in tournament. You don't need to be the best.
Kenny,
it's true. Wait, hold on. Let me just say the rest of the dubs. HH exposed pre-2000 BC. Oh god, no way Brazil got brazzed versus Senegal. Oh, okay. Thank you for the dub. Exposed again. Exclusive. Chelsea need 2 planes for pre-season. # 40 men squad. All right, thank you. Thank you for the dub, Abris Fair. Thank you for the $5 dub, Abris Fair. Thank you, man. Brazil play with no tactics. If the players aren't great, they ain't doing nothing. Fully agreed. They have no structure. They play for Vela tactics. Carlo can't fix this. You see, and that is my view. Brazil's nature is it's chaos. It's ordered chaos. And that is how they do. Because Dunga tried to do Catenaccio. We all know what happened in 2010. So if Brazil now try to do structure, systems, and tactics, Spain will beat them. France will beat them.
I think
Portugal will beat them. Because you can't beat the Europeans at their game. I'm sorry.
I think if you look at it, I think the team that should be ashamed and the nation that should be ashamed is France. I think France is by far the best team in the world. But I think they have underachieved. They should have won both of the Euros. And then they should have won both of the World Cup. They should be 2-time World Cup.
What?
No. Yes, I'll give you the Euros. Yes, they shouldn't have. Yes, they shouldn't have been in the World Cup final.
I disagree. I'll tell you,
France shouldn't have been in the World Cup final. No.
Who's the last team to have won a World Cup back to back? What are these crazy?
Yeah, it was Brazil back in 1962.
Okay,
come on, man.
Okay.
Wait. Hold on. Let me just do the jobs. Anthony has more shots on. Okay, all right. I'm not going to read that. Ricardo, I knew you found that funny. Elijah.
Hey, hashtag me too. Hashtag me too.
Unfortunately, Samba ball is extinct, which is sad. Man. Thank you for the dub, Elijah, man. Thank you for the dub, Abris Fairman. Thank you for the dub. And Inzaghi gave a formula on how to beat Pep and Premier League teams. Well, and Premier League teams will still try to copy Pep and play against City with a 4-3. Only Liverpool can do it against City. Nice. What Simone Inzaghi did showed in the UCL final was like, bro, this whole thing of Pep has changed football, that's all bullcrap. There are a million strategies and ways to win. There's not only one way to win, which is the way it should. Measure exposed again. Thank you for the dub, Mr. Exposed. Germany and Brazil took advantage of a weak ass era in the 60s to 90s.
What?
Calm down.
Wait. Where's my break?
90s.
That's 90s.
I mean,
no. Is on a level playing field. You see, that's when you just know that you're stupid. I'm with all due respect. Thanks for the dub, but you are. This is stupid.
Is he really wrong? Is he really wrong?
No. Wait. Hold up, Kenny. So you're saying that the Germany team of the 90s, the Italy team of the 90s and the 2000s, those guys are weaker than the Italy and the Germany teams of now.
No, I'm not saying weaker, but if you look at the level of competition, or probably not the top teams, but if you look at the overall competition, it's probably the teams like
but Kenny, see, you can't really say this right now because the German and Brazil teams are arguably some of the weakest teams that they've ever had. So no. See, Kenny, what you do is, if you could take the German team of the 90s and the Brazil team of the 90s and put them in this era. If they fail, then this is right. But we all know that if you pick that German team, Brazil team of the 90s and put them in this era, they decimate everybody.
We don't know that because the way that if you look at the games back in the day, some of the tactics then, some of the space.
So Kenny, you're saying that a team with Ronaldinho, peak Rivaldo, peak Ronaldo, cannot do anything.
No, but we don't. No, I'm not saying they can't do anything. But the way football played back then and football played now is, like you said, is different. So I can't tell you which style is going to win because we always say, maybe a system might be better than individual. I don't know that. I can't prove that.
Okay, but let's say that because we have to move to the next one. So Nigel Cardoso, Brazil big booty, Argentina inflation. Okay, thank you for that, Nigel. Brazil got violated 7-1 by Germans at home. # love loss. Look, as I said again, thank you for the job, Nigel, man. That is gonna have long lasting effects of how they lost 7-1. Ifman, thank you for the dub. Ifman, thank you for the dub. Ifman, Brazil didn't win the World Cup in '82 despite all the talent and flair. Easily changed the perception, showing systems can beat talent. Brazil went pragmatic to win the World Cup in 1994. Many Brazilian fans would swap World Cup 94 for World Cup 82. Oh no, this is true because again, like people say that everyone agrees that the best team to not win the World Cup was the Brazil team in 1982 with your boy Zico. But my thing though is, yes, they were way more pragmatic in 94. But when we look at them in 1980 and in 02, I think it was much more of a balance. But it's not even about Joga Bobanito. Put that to one side. It's about the individuals. Because what you saw in 98, but specifically in 02 is you just had those match winners and those game winners. All Brazil have now is named, put it very simply, the only player in this era that could potentially, only players in this era that could get into that Brazil 98 or 02 team are Thiago Silva and Neymar. That's it. Neymar and Thiago Silva are the only guys that would make it into the team in 98 and 02. No one else. And therein lies the issue. So guys, let's talk about the GOAT. Let's talk about the GOAT. So, and I'm coming first to Ricardo with this, bro. Ricardo?
Let me speak on my goal, please.
Ricardo, you have to stop sending me hate mail.
What?
Regarding Cristiano.
I don't believe that. Never mind.
Guys, he's in the Guinness Book of Records.
It's official.
So what is it? So it's what? He is the only player to play 200, to have 200 international appearances. 200 international appearances. And I believe scored as well. And also, so Kenny, how many goals is he on right now? International, is it 161, 170? How many? It's a lot.
Oh no.
Let's just say it's a lot of goals.
I think
Highest goal scorer, but I think he's adding to it. Ricardo, despite no World Cup knockouts goal and so forth, and no World Cup, do we still need to respect what this guy has achieved and his incredible, stupendous legacy in the international game?
I want to say that let's see. I actually watched the members hangout yesterday, and I was very, very upset I wasn't part of it because it was a segment that was called Hot Takes and Unpopular Opinions. And you're lucky I wasn't there, because I was gonna cook.
Oh Lord.
So, but we're not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna give my hot take on that because it's actually related to this topic.
Who was you gonna cook?
Oh, the man himself. But anyways, yeah, like, look, 200. Has anybody done 200? There's only one name. There's only one name. The name Ronaldo. Look, it's a testament to how long he has played football, how long he has kept himself in shape, and look, the man has 200 games. Out of those 200 games, not one goal when it mattered. But it's okay. It's okay because he's GOAT Naldo. He met speed. He's him.
Why do I have a feeling that there's a bit of, I sense some sarcasm in your voice? And so
no. You can
just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, kidding. Just a little.
When you talk about GOAT Naldo, you have to talk with the utmost respect. No sarcasm. All about truth. It's like I'm seeing CR200. Maybe CR300 coming up next.
Rick Bayless.
Okay, Ricardo, let's cut the crap. What does this milestone mean to you?
It means, for me, it shows dedication, perseverance, that no matter how long this guy's played football, the appearances don't matter. He's still searching for that World Cup knockout goal. So I respect the grind. I respect the hustle. Whether or not he gets it is a different question.
Wait, so hold on. So he's definitely turning up in 2026. What you're saying?
Yes.
Why do you think he went to Saudi Arabia? We're seeing him in 2030. Forget 26. We're seeing him. He beat the case. He's gonna be there.
How old will he be in 2030? 49?
It doesn't matter. He has a body of a 21-year-old. He is an apex level athlete, bro. Like, look, Ronaldo, he's not retiring till he either gets that goal or he rides coattails to a World Cup victory. It is what it is. You think he's not stopping at 200? We might see 200 more.
You know, I've always said this thought that, like, the only thing that will stop him is a major injury. I don't see a scenario where Cristiano Ronaldo voluntarily retires. Like, you're dealing with a guy who's slightly... And you know what? All hits aside, I admire the dedication.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm like, you have to admire a guy's unrelenting focus on, I'm going to keep on going, despite the abuse, despite the insults, despite the memes and so forth. He's like, no, I'm going to keep on going. And the unwavering belief in his ability, even now to today, I actually find that quite incredible. Because I really believe that he truly still believes that he's one of the best players in the world right now. And you've got to admire that belief, because there's nothing more admirable than unwavering self-belief. Some people say it's delusional, but hey, other guys will just say, wow.
Nah, but HH, man, you gotta put some respect on his name, man. He's the only one who's done it. Look, he's playing the next Euros, that's for sure. That ain't nobody gonna stop him. Next World Cup, we're definitely. It was always dependent on the case.
No, I mean, no. If this do wait, so he's gonna be what, 42 in the next World Cup?
HH, I told you, age is nothing but a number. He has the body of a 22-year-old. That's what his fans told me. He's a physical specimen. He's gonna go there, probably shoot blanks as he always does, and that's that. Chapter 6. And then in the World Cup 2030, Chapter 7, that's where he closes out. CR7 closes out.
Okay, wait, look, Ahmed Mohammed, man, talk to me. Your view on Ronaldo's milestone, bro. What does it mean for football and his legacy? Ahmed Mohammed.
He has no comments.
Yes, what are you saying about Ronaldo's? Here you go. Ahmed, go for it.
Ahmed, go, bro.
Salam, bro. How you doing? My view on Ronaldo, I think he is the GOAT, but I think what he's trying to do
hold up. So you said he's the GOAT. Why do you believe he's the GOAT? Ricardo, wait. Let
him cook.
Yeah. So why are you laughing? Which way? Simon, why do you think? Because you can't just say he's the GOAT and just go. Why do you believe he's the GOAT?
Yeah, you can't act like we didn't hear that.
Okay, I'll explain it to you. The reason why is because you know what, the way he conducts himself every single day, and not only that, but at the same time, what he achieved in the game. But I think
let him land.
But what I think he's trying to do is he's trying to get a World Cup medal in his neck to actually achieve what he wants. That's the thing.
No. But I mean, so does it make sense for someone to be the GOAT without winning the World Cup? Does that make sense?
No, in his generation, there's only two that is in his generation that I will say Messi, one, even if I hate to say it. Messi is number one because he's done everything in the game that was required. And second will be Ronaldo.
But you did say that Ronaldo is the GOAT. But if he says Messi has done everything in the game and there can only be one GOAT, how would you now say Ronaldo is the GOAT over Messi?
The only reason why I'm saying it is because simply the fact the way with Ronaldo, he went to go to different leagues. He tested himself with different leagues to show how good he is. With Messi, the only thing that I would say that he's still up there is because he played for Barcelona most of his life. And what is it called? The thing I will say is he never challenged himself to go to other leagues. I think if he went to other leagues, I think he would have been bullied personally. Yeah, especially if he came to England. Yeah. If he came to, I think he would have been bullied.
He's right there. He's right there.
The only reason why I'm saying Ronaldo is ahead of Messi slightly is because he went through different leagues, yeah, to test himself. Yeah, and that's the reason why I'm saying, you know what, for a 38-year-old, 39-year-old, what he's doing is still phenomenal.
Wait, Ahmed, I have a question. Did Ronaldo test himself in the World Cup yet?
Listen, bro. Relax, bro.
No. Listen. In the World Cup, you know what? I was listening to HH when he was talking about Croatia and Brazil. And I personally believe in the World Cup, if you got the good system and you got a good team, yeah, you can beat anyone in that game. It's a one-off game.
So Portugal didn't have a good system or a good team?
No, I personally believe, you know what, the way Portugal play, they surround themselves around Ronaldo, but with Messi, they got even, what's the name, that Inter Milan striker, I don't know what's the name.
Lautaro?
And also, you know what it is with Argentina. I personally believe Argentina have this mentality like the British game, if you know what I mean. They got that physical, appearance that, you know what, they'll play that physical game if you want to, and if they want, they can play a bit dirty, yeah, compared to the flair teams like.
No, I think what I just find, because look, see, everybody can have views, and I think everybody's entitled to their views. So I just find it just fascinating that for some people's arguments is, okay, Messi didn't test himself, Ronaldo has tested himself, his longevity, his supremacy in different leagues and in different scenarios. For them, they say that is what makes him great. True. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But my thing though is, Ahmed, all I'll say though is, I would maybe somehow be in your lane if Cristiano was, let's say, Swedish, or he was from San Marino.
He's Portuguese.
No, don't do that. Hold on.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
In 1966, Eusebio led Portugal to a semis, and he was voted. I think he was top scorer. And he was top scorer in that World Cup in 1966. And Portugal also made the Euros final as well. In 04. No. Kenny, here's my thing though.
And who was there? This guy. Kenny,
no. Kenny, what we're not going to do? Kenny, what we're not going to do is Kenny, what we're not going to do is not ask the question why in 5 World Cups you've not been able to score a single World Cup knockout score.
Yeah, World Cup is messed up, yeah, but at the end of the day, Portugal were not known for they ain't won nothing. right? Before he went there. So
Yeah, and-
wait,
hold on, Kenny. Let's keep it a stack. Let's see. I just want to see. This is what you guys always do. This is supposed to be a celebratory thing and so forth, and now we've not brought this up. Kenny, what happened in the final of the Euros? Yes, no. In 2016.
He got injured.
In 2016, he got injured. But what did they win? But what did they do in the semis?
What did he contribute to that final against?
What did he contribute
against the favorites?
What did he contribute in the semis?
He was coaching.
He got injured.
No, hold on. Kenny, hold on a second. Kenny, what did he contribute against the favorites, the hosts, and the team who were supposed to win?
Wait. HH, the guy got injured. Are you going to blame him for getting injured? They won at the end of the day.
Kenny, it is what it is. At the end of the day, that team won without him contributing in the final.
So the guy was. So the guy was.
What we're not going to say is because this is what I hate. Is when people say, "Oh, before Ronaldo, they won nothing. With Ronaldo, they won it all."
Yes, that's
as
true.
if Ronaldo single-handedly won them that Euros, which is
no, he didn't.
But that's how people are presenting it, though.
No, yes, he didn't. But he was
very important. Yes, he was very important. Yes,
I think he's for me. Pep was the best player.
Pepe was the best player. Yes, Pepe was the best player.
Relax, you're gonna offend some people by saying that.
No, he was like, come on, let's be real. Because the defense was but Ronaldo was still the most. It's true. He was the second most important. He was the captain. He was the best offensive player. So at the end of the day, he still contributed. Just because he got injured in the final, you're not gonna. You can't just remove that.
No, but Kenny,
he still won Portugal their first major honor.
I know that it's unfortunate and so forth because it wasn't his fault he got injured. It is what it is. But I'm sorry. It is what it is. When we look at the greats and what they've done is what you do in the biggest game, is what you do in the final. Because the final is the biggest game. Because if Cristiano had scored the winning goal or scored one of the goals or was key in that final, we're having a very different discussion right now.
Okay, so Ronaldinho doesn't have a World Cup then?
By the way, Cristiano
Ronaldo. Wait. Kenny, that World Cup was R9's. No, wait, Kenny, am I saying that Cristiano is not a Euro winner? No.
That's what you're saying, basically. You're saying he didn't score in the final, so it's not some...
No. I'm saying that he did not. He was not the main reason and the leader that single-handedly led them all the way through.
He was the leader.
He was... in 86 though.
No, but
he was the
wait, hold on, Ricardo.
What you guys are missing out is that we're holding players to different standards. Like when we talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, we're talking about one of the greatest players of all time. As much as I love Ronaldinho, he wasn't the best player in his international team at any point. Like Ronaldo, when you think of that Brazil team, we think about Ronaldo. So we don't hold even the great Ronaldinho even to the standards of Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the truth. So saying whether Ronaldinho's World Cup counts or not, it ultimately doesn't matter because we put Cristiano Ronaldo on a different pedestal compared to him. That's the argument HH is making. We're talking about one of the greatest players of all time.
And pretty much, so basically, because it goes back to Ahmed Mohamed, if it's saying that you feel that he's the greatest, I'm like, okay, if you're saying he's the GOAT, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the World Cup and I'm looking at your contributions in the Euros. And when I look at those things as well, so when you're in that GOAT conversation, you have to have that iconic moment or that iconic performance in the biggest game and the most important game. Like Messi is in that conversation because we saw what he did in the World Cup final. So because when Mbappe said what's up and it was 2-2, Messi said 3-2, but Mbappe said 3-3 baby. Yes, what are you saying?
But here's the issue. Qatar World Cup has to be the most scandalous, the most shameful.
Oh yeah, because Messi won. Because Messi won.
To have it to football. Listen, you're telling me Qatar owned PSG, and their two best players played in the final, and Messi won. It was in his contract that they were going to give him the World Cup. So let's be honest. Ronaldo was playing against Qatar, a whole country that was.
Wait, but hold on. Sorry, let me just circle this back. See, because I think this is about legacy talk. Cristiano's legacy is set. His legacy is set. But see, this is where I now have to be objective and subjective. From an objective point of view, it's a great legacy. Goals, international goals tally, UCL goals tally, amounts of games played, and so forth. From an objective point of view, it's true. Me as a football fan, from a subjective point of view, I don't care about these things. For me, these things are irrelevant. I remember for years when I used to see Ali die in the Guinness Book of Records, and I was like, I don't give a crap. I don't give a damn whether Ali Dai is a top scorer, because in my mind, all that matters is your World Cup, your Champions Leagues, and what you do in the biggest games. And you're in the biggest ones. So for me, so Ali Dai being the top international goal scorer, who gives a damn?
You didn't care because he played for Iran. If he was the other guy that played for a bigger...
Kenny, no, Kenny. Kenny, I promise you right now, if it was even a non-player, that's in football, that doesn't matter. In football, what matters is the World Cup and the Champions League. These are the things that matters in football. And goal records, games played, I'm sorry. They don't matter. All that matters. So the Ballon d'Or doesn't matter. It's the World. It's the World Cup, your continental trophy, and it's the Champions League.
Okay,
that's the Trinity. Wait, hold. AK, and then yes, AK.
Firstly, can you zoom into my AVI?
Oh Lord.
What is
it's 2030 Ronaldo. Are we ready? 2030 Ronaldo. I think
this is supposed to be a praising session.
Wait, hold on. AK, this is a praising session, by the way. We're here to praise him.
I would like to congratulate Ronaldo on 200 caps. His legacy is set in stone. What do you want to say? He's one of the greatest players of all time. And although he flopped in the World Cup 5 different times, I think we still have to give him his kudos. Incredible career, scored loads of goals. I think it's the all-time top scorer.
Internationally, yes.
Yeah, internationally.
All-time international goal scorer, all-time Champions League goal scorer.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Record is a participation trophy, HH. It's a participation trophy, this record. Let's be completely honest.
Wait, so hold on. So what is a participation trophy?
He participated
in Guinness World.
Oh.
Let's be honest.
Come on, respect Guinness, man. Come on.
But this is a fitness award.
You spent 200 times. Okay, guys. Okay. I want to try and be objective here and so forth. But my thing here is that, are we repping the game?
No. But 200 caps with your national team is crazy. You have to respect the longevity. Come on.
But Kenny, here's the issue.
No. Okay, wait. Hold on. So yes, before go. But Kenny, that's the thing, though. 200 caps, 200 apps. Kenny, so because Kenny, all I care about is what did you win. I don't care how many times you played. Because for me, it's about winning. It's about achievements. It's about trophies. It's about silverware. It's because, as I said again, it's the Holy Trinity: the World Cup, your Continental Trophy, and the Champions League.
HH, I have a question for you.
If he won 2 euros, would that change your mind, though?
I have a quick question for you, HH.
Ricardo.
Ronaldo's what, like 30, 38? Is he 38?
38.
38. 200 caps. He's played for a long time. There's a lot of talent coming through. At what point? I mean, it's cool he plays for 200 games, but at what point do you start having a discussion? Maybe it's time to move on. Not build this team around Ronaldo, who's probably not going to be there that much longer, especially with the Euros and the World Cup looming around. Or are you just going to keep on playing because his name is Cristiano Ronaldo?
No. Basically, the responsible thing to do is to move on now. But the issue is, Ricardo, if Ronaldo is fit, he's starting. Because who is Portugal's manager? He's your boy, Martinez. And that guy, he doesn't have a spine. And that guy is going to bend over to the will of Cristiano and so forth. He's basically, if Mourinho was in charge, he'll make the real decision. So the responsible thing to do is look at Portugal have João Felix, Diego Jota, Ruben Neves, João Felix, Gonzalo Ramos.
Why are you repeating him?
Here's the thing. Rafa Silva, for some reason, retired off his own will. If you can now convince Rafa Silva to now come back, Portugal have if Portugal do not have much talent, then you have amazing talent. Amazing talent. So Portugal do not need Cristiano. Of course they don't need Cristiano.
Oh no, but João Felix, boy.
Kenny, I gave you Kenny. I know you're a hater, but I give you four other names, bro. Okay, you do need to focus on Felix, bro. Bloody hater. Yes, yeah. Talk to me. Yes.
Yes, you're cool.
Here's the thing, though. Regardless, like it or not, when in the year 3000, when there's a football archives, they look back on the history of football. When they pull up the Book of Portugal, the archives, literally the face of it will be Ronaldo. The whole chapter will be about, the whole book will be about Cristiano Ronaldo. Without Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo, what Cristiano Ronaldo did, he put Portugal on the map. He made Portugal relevant. That's
respect Luis Figo.
Wait, yes, sir. You're telling me that
no. See. Wait, no. Okay, thank you, because I was going to go first to Eusebio. Yes, maybe you were too young. Did you watch Euro 2000?
Also, respect Rui Costa.
Because I watched that Euro 2000 and I saw what Figo did in that.
But that's my issue. Like, this is my issue with you. Sometimes you put your personal opinions and your subjectivity.
Yes, yeah. No. Don't do that. Yes, yeah. This has nothing to do with the subjectivity. If there's any player that puts a country on the map, I'm trying to think.
The definition of putting your country on the world stage was what Eusebio did, and the guy's not even Portuguese. Like,
because yes, yeah, like. You can't forget what Eusebio did, because you can't just say, Ronaldo is the reason why Portugal are relevant. No.
It's true, though. It is.
No. Yes, yeah. Luis Figo literally won the World Player of the Year.
Okay.
As a Portuguese.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. Transcending football, talking about people that don't even care about football. If you ask about Portugal, they will only name you one name, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay. Yes, now we're not dealing with popularity tax now.
Instagram.
Wait. Apart from yes, it was once talking this whole Cristiano. SM the money was SM.
I want to hear yes, keep cooking to be.
No, I don't. The foot is bonds.
All I'm saying.
Shout out to my Caucasian.
At the end of the day,
SM, can you talk over this dude, man?
No,
SM, can you just talk over this dude? Don't worry, SM, I'll meet him, bro. It's fine. SM, I'll meet him. SM, go for it.
200 caps. I mean, it's impressive, but as you said, it doesn't mean anything, because does it lead to a World Cup? Does it lead to Euros? No, it's basically an attendance record. Ronaldo's got 100% attendance record. That's what he has.
Exactly.
Nah, you got that disrespecting. Nah, you got that disrespecting. Nah, you got that.
Kenny, you can't say that and like kind of start laughing. You want to laugh.
I wish FSU was here. This is
Listen. H.
No, SM, that's messed up. SM, that's streets. I'm not laughing. I am laughing at how messed up that is. SM, that's messed up.
I got 100% attendance in my school. I didn't get anything.
Well, I mean, okay, community was well, but over in school, I had to because my Nigerian parents, man. So,
but yes. Yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. Like, what does it mean? Like, okay, you got 200 appearances, but who gives a shit? It doesn't mean anything.
You see, because do you know what the weird thing is now? If I now call this up on everything, and Ronaldo fans, they just think I'm hating. I'm not hating. All I'm just saying, guys, okay. So for Ronaldo fans who think that we're not hating everything, that is a funny joke. It is funny because it's like all he did was that you attended, so you just turned up. So basically, okay, you know what? Let me spin. Okay, SM, let me spin. Okay, sorry, let me spin it.
All right.
Give him credits for keeping yourself to a physical state where you kind of make 200 appearances.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we know that guys who are not, if you're not properly in shape, you're not properly conditioned and so forth. So to be able to consistently turn up like that, attending record is funny because it's going for school. But if you're now attending for sports, top level sports, that is a different kind of physical preparation, dedication, and conditioning that you need to have to be able to be in a position to always turn up and play. So,
you're right though, because like otherwise Ronaldo could become like Hazard and just become a bum.
There we go, because we know what happened to Hazard. We know how it happened to Hazard. Okay, so let me come to Money Mace. Talk to me, Money Mace.
Do you know what? The only thing that will make this worth it is if he wins the 2024 Euros. It's possible though. It is possible with the landscape of European football. It's not good right now, so I actually think Portugal might win it. To be fair.
Well, I thought they were going to win the World Cup too, but it didn't happen.
I mean, if France are there, it's going to be a bit crazy, bro. Abdallah, thoughts on Ronaldo's milestone, bro?
It's pretty much irrelevant. Wow. It's just numbers. What does it actually matter? He's pretty much, I'm gonna say something mad, but he's the Harry Kane of international football, if not the World Cup.
But he won.
Does it really matter?
He won Euro.
No,
he won a Euro.
You guys are going too far with it. You guys are going too far with this.
Is that a record?
He actually did with some.
What did he do? No, did he generally contribute to anything?
No. You can't call him the hurricane thing. No, he actually contributed something, bro. So it's not an equivalent.
To be fair, those Euros is actually pretty fugazi. It's the first Euros to reward third place.
I'm
just saying. There's a tax on it.
You want the Nations League?
Actually, wait, hold up. Let's actually hold up. Now, this is interesting because we have a CR defender, so this could get interesting. So shout out to your boy Tim. I'm going to read all of his dubs. So Tim RR. So there are 3 dubs from Tim. Don't waver, my guy. You are spitting facts about CR7. The world knows he's the GOAT. The world, okay. Tell them to look up any analytics. His influence is unmatched. So do we look at the World Cup analytics as well? See, look up the analytics. So he said look up any analytics. So should we look up the World Cup? Again, they're laughing. I'm not laughing. You said look up any analytics. So
you're holding in your laughing.
You see, that's the thing. Show me his World Cup analytics and his influence at the World Cup. Show me. So hold on. See me again.
Oh, sorry.
Messi's international career is sauce. Copa, worst player in the final, and a sauce World Cup. Without World Cup or knockouts goals. Ronaldo's international career is 10 times Messi. Facts. You like hating HH. Keep crying. Okay. So hold on. Tim, you can't just ignore World Cup knockouts goals and just say without World Cup. No, but that is something though. So you can't ignore that. Well, hold up. Tim is still here.
Let him go.
CR7 wasn't in MLS at 35.
Oh my god. Drop the break.
Okay, no, guys. Let's just read with seriousness. Tim again. Yes, you can tell how deluded these guys are. They hate blinds their ability to be objective. LOL.
Yasu is not even on picture.
Wait, hold on. Is this Yasu's burner account or something? No. But Tim though, my thing though is
Tim R.
You you said we want to be objective. Let's be objective. If we're being objective, one guy has the Euros, several Champions Leagues. Another guy has several Champions Leagues, the Copa America, and the World Cup. So if we're being objective, isn't Messi's resume better than Ronaldo's?
Yes. Respect the Nations League.
Oh, what Captain Nations League?
Friendly
If man, CR7 has 200 camps, 20 years, but just recognized by FIFA. So Chan An from Malaysia has 219 caps, recognized by the IFHSS, but for FIFA is 196 caps. Okay, hold up.
Whoa.
So Chan Han. We should be repping So Chan Han. So Chan An, bro.
The ultimate attendance merchant.
CR7, you've got 19 caps to go.
That guy did extracurriculars, right? That got extra caps on his
Basically, So Chan An was that guy that sits at the front. Okay, you know what? Let me ask this to everybody. Okay, and guys, be honest. Whenever you went to class, did you sit at the front, in the middle, at the back, or random?
In the middle.
At the back.
On the
AJ,
side.
also
in the middle.
at the back.
Wait, hold on, Ricardo, what's it?
Elementary school, I sat right beside the teacher because I was a piece of shit student.
Not surprised.
One of those. No, funny, bro. Seriously, do you know what it was? I would always go straight to the back so I could basically talk, play games and everything. There was one time when I sat at the front, I was like, bro, this is so weird. When I was sitting at the front, but nah, my front was not happening, bro. Nigel Cardoso, if Ali. Okay, all right. Let's just keep going then. Let's keep going. Il Clue, Ronaldo 200 caps, 0 World Cup knockouts goals, 0 player of the tournament, 0 finals goals contributions. Only final he played, he got sold for injuries. Inflated goal record, big game ghost, false image. Okay, now that's just harsh. Okay, that's just
that's a great $5. That's a very good $5.
That was a crazy $5, bro. That's a crazy $5 dope. Okay, guys. Okay, let's now go to our main thing right now. So,
this guy paid $5.
Are we not talking about Germany?
HH, let's talk. Oh my god.
HH, we have to cook Germany as well.
Yeah, no, we have to cook Hansi Flick. It was when Hansi Flick one day people told me that it was going to be the renaissance of Germany.
That's a $5 well spent. That's a $5 well spent. But basically, it's almost like, okay, so should I pay $5 for this meal or $5?
Can you highlight Steve McC's comment? Can you highlight his comment? Stu McC.
Basically, it's like his mom says, listen to me. You have $5 of allowance, bro. And God, he was like, $5 to food, or $5 to send hate to football.
I respect the grind, bro. Oh my god.
Guys, I don't care what it says. Hate is healthy, man. So, guys,
let's talk about
Germany. We gotta cook.
Oh, no. We'll get to Germany. I'll send them first. I'll send to Germany afterwards. So, guys, Saudi Pro League. So, let me come to Ricardo first. So, Ricardo, can Saudi Pro League be a threat?
Yeah, I definitely do think it can be a threat. But it depends on their strategy. I think when you get guys like Cristiano, Benzema, even Conte, they tried Modric, they tried Leo Messi. That's not a bad strategy. To start off, it's not a bad strategy because you gotta go in big. You gotta get the big names.
No. Okay. So do you? Because when I did the video, I said, look, okay, Benzema, okay, Cristiano, okay, because we're hearing Bernardo Silva now. If you can get a Bernardo Silva, that's when it will get interesting. But that's a better question. What makes it different from when the Chinese Super League were attracting Oscar, Hulk, Ratanape, and so forth?
Well, that's what I was gonna go into. I think the big names are short-term strategy. Did they capture our attention? Yeah, they caught our attention with the amount of big names they've signed. Now, when you start going after the Bernardo Silvas, I guess the Ruben Neves, like, quality good players in the midst of their prime, then it starts getting interesting. But I think the difference with China is that China weren't able to lure the best players. Well, who are they? The best players or the biggest names? They weren't able to do that the same way Saudi Arabia. Also, let's be honest, bro. Saudi Arabian money is different type of money compared to anywhere else.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Now, I personally don't think in terms that they will beat Europe. I don't think so, because this is the reality. It's only going to be the Saudi league that's going to house these players, right? However, what is the biggest trophy? The biggest trophy is the AFC Champions League. Are you going to tell me that if they get all these players, the strongest teams are going to come directly from one league, and therefore that devalues the Continental Cup, and the league becomes stronger? And that's the problem that's actually happening in South America. Brazil has all the money. They're getting, the better players. And so much so that CONMEBOL actually gave so many qualifier spots in the Copa Libertadores for Brazilian teams that it's almost like the Copa Libertadores is pretty much just as Brazilian and cup with like one or two teams from another country, one be from maybe from Ecuador, from Paraguay, maybe from Argentina or two, but mainly it's always going to be the Brazilian teams that are there. This is what the AFC Champions League is going to be, and it's not going to be competitive. It's always going to be a Saudi Arabian team winning. That's kind of like in the Champions League, just to put it in perspective. I imagine we live in a world where every year it's just an English team winning, and then UEFA says, you know what? The English teams are so good. Let's give an extra 4 to 5 spots in the Champions League to those English teams. Now you got your Chelsea's in it. Now you got your Aston Villas. You got your, I don't know, your West Hams, your Brightons. So you have like 9-10 teams in the Champions League from one league. So in my opinion, it's not sustainable in the long run, but it does make for interesting conversation that how
no, because I think you make a great point. But my thing though is the choice is legacy versus money.
Yeah,
or legacy versus the bag.
I was gonna get into that. I never, like, any player that decides to go to Saudi Arabia, I'll never blame them for doing, because at the end of the day, football, as much as you love it, these guys are in a business and they're there to make money. This career is very finite. You could get injured, and that bag that you possibly have could have gotten is never going to be there again. There's some players like, you know what, I'm 28, like let's say Bernardo Silva, right? He's like, I'm 28, I can still play at the high level, get paid relatively well, and let me wait till I'm 30, 31, and let me cash out in Saudi Arabia for that big bag. What if Bernardo Silva gets injured that same season, he declines it, and he's never the same player again? When he's 30, 31, that offer isn't there anymore. I genuinely think and it's kind of hard, because to be a professional athlete, especially for a lot of the guys who make it, for a lot of these guys who make it at the top level, they have huge egos. They have a high level of self-belief that they can be one of the best players in the world, play for the top teams. So they live with that level of ambition. Now, let's be honest. I believe it was a basketball player or a football player in MLS. He actually said this. It wasn't Messi, by the way. He said that the reality of sports is that 10, 20 years after you have played, nobody really remembers 99% of the players.
Yes.
They only remember like 1%. So, like, let's be honest, the Messis, the Ronaldos, the Iniestas,
it's 1%. It's even less than 1%.
Yeah, it'll be less than 1%. But those are the guys you remember. But the guys who are as good as Ruben Neves, I hate to even say it, maybe like even a Gundogan, even a Bernardo Silva, they're not gonna be remembered.
No.
As good as they are,
they won't be remembered. No,
they won't be remembered. So for them, you have to weigh up legacy or just financial gain.
So basically, so correct, perfect on that point. If you're advising Bernardo Silva, what do you do? PSG or Saudi Arabia? If you're advising Bernardo Silva,
to me, it completely depends on what his goals are. I think if he thinks that, it's one of those things where those types of players of those levels have to have a real, genuine evaluation of their career and what they want to accomplish. For Bernardo Silva, let's just say he's just won the treble, he's won the Champions League, he's won the three-peat, he's been part of one of the
what else is there to achieve?
Exactly. So you maximize the biggest bag you possibly can, and maybe for Portugal, maybe you can win the Euros, the next coming one. Probably not the World Cup, but you have to keep it real, because if you're someone like Ronaldo, you're gonna think, bro, I can win every trophy. I'm Ronaldo. Like, I'm just that guy, and that's fine. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. But for some of the guys, it's not. Like, I think when it becomes really concerning is when you see a player of Vinicius or Haaland, of Mbappe's level, like genuinely one of the top players in the world, and he's young, and he goes to Saudi Arabia. I think that's when the real concerns start. But I think those guys who are Vinicius, the Mbappe's, the Haaland, who know, I'm next up, I'm the next face of football, and I'm young. The legacy is going to completely outweigh the amount of money, because to a lot of these guys, look, I can get paid $200 million a year at Saudi Arabia or whatever, maybe $100 million, because you're not getting Ronaldo money. But I'll probably make that money in Europe. It might be over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And maybe not so much
guaranteed. No, but that's why it's dependent on who you are as a player. But what will make this interesting is a point you just raised earlier, is this is crazy money. Yeah. China's Super League was a lot of money. this is money on a whole different level. Because with the Chinese Super League, it was there, but this makes the choice even harder because no, this is not generational wealth in a shorter space of time. Knowing that, what if I get a long-term injury? I can cash out 2 years. I'm good.
I think also too, this is a kind of UEFA's and FIFA's own doing too, because I think when they allowed Saudi Arabia, the government, to able to buy the Newcastle, it gave them an opening to really like kind of take over, and with the Premier League, the amount of money that's being pumped in, I can see a lot of big names going there. I think they're going to go there a lot earlier. I think if Bernardo Silva goes at 28, who's to say some guy won't go at 26, maybe even 24? Maybe there's going to be an Mbappe, Haaland, and Vinny type player that says, like, you know what? Screw the legacy. Let me get the bag. Mbappe and Haaland can go chase the legacy, whatever. That's a risk. You have to actually go and get that. But what I'm getting at Saudi Arabia is guaranteed. And at the end of the day, my kids are not going to eat legacy. They're going to eat the food that I put on the table for the money I earn.
Wait, HH, can I?
Yeah, go for it.
So, fun fact: I've actually been to Saudi Arabia many times. I lived near Saudi Arabia and have family there. And the people there, they're actually quite football crazy. Like, we don't know it, but like if you look at the tifos and like the attendances, the people there live and breathe football. It's the most popular sport.
And sorry, another point, and this is a point I think I was making on a podcast, and that's what makes it different from China. If you look at China, I believe you could say it's 70-30 in favor of basketball.
Yeah.
So, whereas in Saudi Arabia or really in the Middle East, it is crazily heavily influenced for football.
And the way like these guys are marketing it, it's these big players who, because they're Muslim, they have like a massive fan base in the Middle East, like your Koulibalys, your ZX, even Cristiano Ronaldo, who's not Muslim, but he has a massive fan base in the Middle East. So they're marketing their league using like whatever players they're getting. They're marketing that league well, and I think either the first step to either creating like a league that can rival Europe is either develop your league, develop the players in your country to a certain level where they can compete with the rest of Europe, or you can start by investing and getting these stars to your country and kind of using them as the benchmark for your local players to get to. So I think, okay, it might not. I think at the start it looks a bit reckless because China did this. China's just giving out sums of money, and all these sums of money will go to these players, and they'll just go there for a quick bag and come. But I think Saudi Arabia, because of the sheer wealth they have, and the sheer interest they have in the sport, because they even took over Newcastle, I think it's going to be easier for them than for China to build something that build a legacy in terms of
so do you see them being a threat then to Europe, a realistic threat?
We can't say right now, because to be a threat to Europe, you can't just bring stars. You have to actually develop the players, actually develop your league to a certain level where how many teams are in the Saudi? Is it 10 or 12?
I think it might be 12. Hold up. Wait, you mean in the Saudi Pro League?
Yeah, in the Pro League.
There are. Oh, this is so weird.
16 teams.
16 teams.
16. So I think you have to get to a level where those 16 teams aren't just dependent on these big stars. You have to have these 16 teams actually have to have some form of development of local players along with the marketability of these stars. And for me, if Saudi Arabia is spending 20 billion on bringing these stars, it's illogical to suggest that they won't spend billions on youth development. But if that balance can come together and it works, then yeah, based on the money they're doing, they can come close to Europe. But that's going to take a long time to achieve.
Wait, is it true that
hold on. Let me come to Smash who's not spoken. Smash, your thoughts. Do you think the Saudi Pro League can say what's up and challenge Europe?
Maybe in 10 to 15 years. I think they need time. But they have the money, they have the right development, they have the right strategy. So I think they can. But it depends on how the next generation of players are. Do they want to really win something, or do they want to go for the money? Because Gundogan could go earn 35 million a year. If Gundogan, how old is he? 33? 32?
I think
If
32.
If I were Gundogan, I would go there on earn 35 million because he wants to go to Barcelona. Is probably going to Barca, but if it were my decision, I would just retire and go to Saudi League.
Abdallah, talk to me. Your thoughts, man. Saudi Pro League. Abdallah.
Sorry, yeah. 1 second. I'm just turning off my phone. I think I generally do think they can compete, especially what they're trying to do. Fun fact: the person who's in charge of the league is the former sporting director of Manchester City, who brought in the likes of Company, Aguero, etc., etc. His name's Gary Cook, and he's pretty much the in charge of the whole sporting project of that league. I generally think with all the, especially them targeting a lot of the players in their peaks, especially the ones that are Muslim, I think the lifestyle in Saudi Arabia kind of is quite appealing. So yeah, I generally do think it can compete sooner rather than later.
Do you see a scenario where they can attract 26, 27, 28-year-olds, guys at their peak?
Why not? If it depends on the player's lifestyle and what they've achieved, or where their family.
No. You can throw lifestyle there, but okay, look, you guys just won the treble and so forth, and that is obviously a huge, massive thing. And you look at us how people will now view them and so forth. So for a lot of players, like, oh, geez, I want to win a put it this way, okay. If we look at like Haaland, for example, look at what has happened to me. Will Haaland not say, okay, I've won the Champions, let me now go? No, I want to be seen as one of the best players or best strikers in history. You can never be regarded as one of the best strikers in history moving to the Saudi Pro League. You can only do that being in Europe, competing in Europe, and succeeding in Europe.
But it depends on the type of person you want. Do you care about legacy or money, and caring about your family and generation wealth?
And I think that's the answer is that we just don't know. We just don't know what the ratio is of how many people will choose legacy over the bag or the bag over legacy.
Because at the end of the day, do you want to be remembered, or do you want to make sure that your family or your bloodline is financially secured?
If it's me, I'm choosing generational wealth.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm putting my family over legacy. No, my family means more than legacy. Who cares?
Because at the end of the day, most people are forgotten, and it doesn't really matter. So.
No, I think basically Ricardo made a great point, which is that less than 1% of football players we know about. So 99.99% of players will not be remembered in 10 years' time. So even if you were part of winning the UCL or part of winning this, you will not be remembered in 15. Nobody will remember John Stones in 15 years' time. No one will. So once you win your trophies and so no, Abdallah, let's be real. No one in 15 years. In 40 years' time, people are not going to be like, man, that John Stones guy. No, they won't be.
Yeah, you're right, HH.
Or rather, he will not be remembered or revered the way that Haaland is, the way that De Bruyne is, the way that Rodri is, and so forth. So my thing, but the point is that this whole thing of legacy thing is, my point is that win your trophy, if you're lucky enough to be part of a team that's won a treble or won a UCL, take the freaking bag. Yeah, and in 2-3 years, you're good. Because remember, there's some players who are retired right now because they didn't have an exit plan. The money runs out. If you're having generational wealth, even if you have no idea what to do after the game, you've made so much money in 4 years. That's what's called generational wealth. For your life, your kids' life, their kids' life, they're good. So because the issue is that if you play in Europe right now, you get a long-term. Pierluigi Casiraghi, I think he came into Chelsea and I think he was injured for like 2 years or something, and he pretty much for it. I really don't know how he now operated afterwards, because you so did not really fulfill your career. You had to retire early. You got screwed, because trust me, you do not make enough money to now do nothing. But if you're in Saudi Arabia right now, be there for 2-3 years, you're good for life. Your kids are good for life. Their kids are good for life. So it's okay. Yes. Okay, no, Abdullah then yes, Abdullah.
HH. So I could give you 2 examples. So what's been talked about for our 2 players, for 2 players in question, for example, Gundogan. For me, if I was Gundogan, I understand if he chose Saudi Pro League, and I would advocate for him to go to Saudi Pro League. He's quite a religious man, from what I can recall, from what I from my common knowledge, and he has a kid as well. So for me, the Saudi thing suits him very well. On the other hand, with Bernardo, for me, it's always been for him, what he's been advocating is that he would probably either someone would come in for him, and that in his late 30s or early 30s, or around about 32, he would want to go back to close to Portugal, or go back to Portugal, which is Benfica. That's what's the plan. It depends on this summer if someone's going to pay up the price tag. That's why I don't. The whole PSG doesn't really make sense, because, no offense, is France compared to France, the type of lifestyle that he wants. He wants to be in Benfica because he has a kid on the way as well. So I think he'll probably run down his contract, because let's be quite honest, Benfica can't afford the type of transfer fee that we would want, and the transfer fee that's required to get him out is probably 70 to 80 million, because he still has 2 years left on his contract.
Oh, okay. Let me come to Yassi. You wanted to speak? Yassi, talk to me.
By the way, breaking news for Benfica.
Yeah, Bernardo to Benfica. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's interesting because it really, I think there's a lot of external factors out there. One thing is, I feel like one thing we don't understand, we forget to understand as a fans, is we are fans of football. Sometimes some of these top players are not fans of football. They're just really good at it. I think sometimes that kind of catches fans off guard, where like, how many of these top players really they love football, like that's the question. And that's hard to answer.
It's true. Yes, what's it called? Your guy Andy Cole said that he was not really a fan of football. Andy Cole.
I think when you look at certain players that now went to Saudi Arabia, I think the two that in recent memory that stand out for me is Ruben Neves. Because Ruben Neves is 26 years old.
That's a big one. So that is a big one.
And then another one was a player that, not a lot of people rate, but I thought he was interesting and talented player was Matthias Pereira. He played for West Brom. Like, you should know HH because he destroyed you guys twice. He also went to Saudi Arabia as well. I think he left like a year or two ago. And I thought that was a surprise because I thought he was a Premier League.
No, but yes, if you're Ruben Neves, why not go?
I mean, HH, I think
no, also because my thing is, okay, what is the argument for him not to go to Saudi Arabia? What is the argument against it?
There is passion. There's literally passion.
But HH, also, I think there's another thing that people might need to actually keep in mind. The football in general is becoming a lot for a lot of players. The players are playing too much football. So if I think about it, if I'm a player, if I pretty much won the Champions League, won my domestic league multiple times, etc., and I'm like 25 years old, if I want to play, more, and I want to focus now on the international side of it, why wouldn't I just take the bag and play in Saudi Arabia? Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I'll get the bag. I get to play in my international team, and I also get to have a life. Let's be honest. A lot of this a lot of these big football players, they don't have a life. They don't see their families. They play almost every single. They even play in the summer. We had the Nations League that played. Nations started right after what you call it, and then in 2 weeks over. I think I was watching the football terrace with Terry, your buddy. Apparently, Man United's preseason starts just over 2 weeks. The preseason starts, and we're going back to the. So if you look at it, you're like, if I don't love football that much, for example, say I'm Trent Alexander-Arnold, I've won everything. If I wanted to leave Liverpool, and I'm pretty much not going to go anywhere in the Premier League, and say Real Madrid and Barcelona and Bayern Munich are not interested, and I don't want to go there, and Saudi Arabia is offering me the bag, well, wouldn't I go?
AJ, I want to just push up on an idea that, for example, for Ruben Neves, right? I think a player of that level, I think there's actually things that he has to weigh up, right? I think for him to accept that contract at Saudi Arabia, he's also making the conscious decision that, or at least let's say players who are at his level but don't go to Saudi Arabia, right? So you're begging the question like, well, why is a player of Ruben Neves might decline that huge bag? I think there's a lot of things. A lot of us are saying, oh, take the generational wealth. It's not necessarily about the generational wealth. It's more about that the money that Saudi Arabia is offering you is guaranteed money. I think that's the main issue, because in Europe, let's be honest, bro, all these footballers, if you're playing top flight football, you're making millions. What you do with the millions you make, whether you invest it, some dudes make a lot of money outside of their football contracts. Like, look at Martin Braithwaite. Like, that's one example of a guy who probably for the course of his career has made not a lot in comparison to the average footballer or a top flight footballer, but he was smart with his money and he made great investments. That's what's creating him generational wealth. And I think for a lot of these guys, they're like, okay, I'm gonna be a millionaire regardless. I get to play in the Premier League, even if it's for a mid-table.
It's sorry, Ricardo, your mic, because we're losing you. We're losing you. So make sure we hear what you're saying.
Hold on, am I back? Is it better? Is it good?
Yeah. Better.
No, for a lot of these guys, they may think like, whether I go to Saudi Arabia or I stay in Europe, even if it's a mid-table team, especially in the Premier League where there's a lot of money, I'm gonna be a millionaire regardless. Whether the question is more, how much more millions do I really want to make? Some of these guys come from dirt cheap places. The fact that they're even playing football in a mid-table club in the Premier League is already like, for them, it's like they made it in life. Generational wealth is like getting that contract for Saudi Arabia isn't the only form of generational wealth. And I think that's why a lot of these guys are fixated. They're not fixated about there's more so the guaranteed money. Like, if, for example, Messi, like, people say his move to MLS was him saying that it's not money motivated was a lie. If his choice was to make as much money as possible, you take that Saudi Arabia. That's guaranteed, non-taxed. Like, I mean,
basically money in a black bin bag.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is guaranteed money. Like, I understand from that point of view, but for guys like Ruben Neves, they also have to weigh up the fact that, damn, I'm a good player who gets frequently called up to my national team. And for a lot of those guys, that's a huge honor for them. But some of those guys his level, especially for a country like Portugal, or maybe someone from Brazil or Argentina, they're like, if I go to Saudi Arabia, I might never play for my international team again. I might never represent the country anymore. And that's the reality. Just because you chose a bag, it doesn't guarantee you anything.
No, but again, it goes back to the choice I made again, which is like legacy, integrity, and the back. So you're losing this again, like, because integrity and legacy is not only the respectability of being in Europe, but it's also a very good point that you bring up, which is international. Because I think a lot of guys picking teams for tournaments is you've got to be a starter, regularly playing for the top teams. Unless I like you and the manager likes you, you've got to now prove why I should pick. Because managers will always have favorites, like Sterling and Southgate. Sterling can literally be on the bench for a whole season. Southgate has always liked him, maybe up until now. But again, I mean, but it is one of those things of where if I was in that position right now, because I think you bring in a good element. So I go to Saudi Arabia, I get the bag, I ain't getting picked for the Nigerian national team. But I stay in Europe here and so forth. I could get picked for the national team, but man, I'm losing out on so much money. So, and I think it even goes to the point that yes, even made, how much do you love the sport? So if you really love the sport and everything, you're like, bro, I'm still making money anyway. If you're smart, you're now flipping the money and putting it into estates and property and everything. So you're flipping it and actually making it more, and you're actually like extrapolating the money, so you're good. But if you're not really into football that much, if you don't really love it that much, Saudi Arabia, that's a great deal. Because you're like, okay, cool. I view this as a job anyway. I view this as a vocation. I don't really have any passion for it. Let me make some money.
Can I speak on this?
Go for it.
Wait, quick. Let me. Money Mace, go for it. Money Mace.
Money Mace.
Honestly, the best thing for you is just to take the money. Like, you think about it. All right, when you're in England, you get taxed at a certain point. So when you make over, I think 500k a year, you get taxed 50% of your money. So let's just do it in terms. Yeah, I know it's a lot, and it really is unfair. Like, let's just think about it in terms of like cash. He's making 60k a week over at Wolves. Ruben Neves. He's getting taxed, and after tax, he keeps 30k of it. That's horrible. Like, even though 30k a week is still 30k a week, you're looking at it on the paper saying like, well, I'm making 60k and I don't even keep half of it. Meanwhile, you go Saudi Arabia, tax rates there are so low because the government doesn't require money from the citizens. They already have enough money. Yeah. So he'll get, and the thing is that contract they gave him, apparently the wages are times 10. So he's making 600k a week. After tax, he keeps like what? I think 500. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, come on. It's a tough world, man. You need to get the money, man. You need to get the money. Like, even Kante, like Mr. Humble, I drive a Mini Cooper to train. You put the money in front of him.
But that's that whole tax thing. That's a big thing because all you guys looking at 200k. You've got to put in tax. It's still they're still making a lot of money, but you got to apply tax. But when you go to Saudi Arabia, it's a lot of money. Probably even more, and there's less tax.
You got to do what Ronaldo and Messi did, just evade taxes, man.
Yeah, but Ricardo, that's just risky, you know.
But quickly on that,
Kenny, comes to SM, Kenny.
Yeah, what you and Ricardo was saying, I think that nowadays most of these players, I think because in these top leagues nowadays, footballers they make enough money, and the thing is that nowadays most of these clubs as well, like they have probably people helping you, like taking care of your money and that. Now I think that back in the days there was way less like they didn't take it in account like the future. Like probably the players were a bit more, they were not as safe with their money and like, they didn't think about the future more than nowadays. Nowadays, most of these footballers, they probably have people working like accountants or people working with their money. Like they're going to be good either ways. At least if you play at a decent club, like if you play at top league probably, or Premier League, La Liga, probably Bundesliga, you're still good. But obviously, I'm hearing that they're making an offer for Hudson-Odoi as well. So can
I'm hearing Hudson-Odoi,
yeah. But yeah, obviously let's be for some players, I think depending on your bracket, I do get why you would take the money, like Ruben Neves as well, but not the top players.
SM, talk to me, bro. SM.
I've just to add to what everyone else on panel said. Like if you're gonna play football nowadays and compared to before, it's not about really the game. I mean, there are players like Ter Stegen and Ben White, and even Carlos Tevez, who said that if El Clasico was on one channel and golf was on the other channel, I'd rather watch golf. So for a lot of these players, it's like, yeah, it's a job. Like it's not really enjoyable for us as fans. Yeah. Also, I mean, think about it. In the future of European football, like football is not going to stay as it is right now because the Super League isn't going to go away. That's a fact. And then on top of that, the way a lot of the players, such as Bernardo Silva, who have accomplished everything, what's the point of going back to PSG when you won the league with Monaco and you can just make a lot of money in Saudi Arabia? Obviously, for him, it's different because he has, sentimental values. But you feel like Ilkay Gundogan, you've done everything. You won everything for club and country because he was part of 2014 World Cup, wasn't he? Yeah. So go to Saudi Arabia. But I'm looking at like European football. I'm like I agree with Itchy. Like Pep, the way it's become so systematic, and let's be honest, with such a style of football, only certain players are gonna go through. So you Ronaldinho in today's world of football wouldn't cut it because let's be honest, he just
I see. Now you're going into very. See, for me, you're not going for an interesting era right now because for me, I always say competition is great. If not for competition, we'd be stuck with that bomber's PS3. Thanks to the 360, we had the PS4. Without competition, I'd still have my bomber's Microsoft computer. Because of competition, I'm now using an iMac and a Mac. So if we now have a league that now says, yo, number 10s, luxury players, individuals, we are here to promote entertainment. We want to entertain and actually bring the excitement of football back. So if we now say, okay, Europe is doing their thing, but Saudi Pro League, they're now doing something different, and we're now offering a different thing. Similar to, I'll bring him up, WWF and WCW.
Yep.
WCW made WWF better.
Oh, yeah.
Because of what WCW was doing, because it was edgier, it was much more adult, it had much more attitude, it was pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
WWF were first, oh, bro, we now have to now bring in the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era only came through because of WCW.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why that came through. It didn't come through. It came, so competition, I think, so if Saudi Pro now offers a different product, it will only improve what Europe now does. Because I'll be real with you, football is losing its excitement. And football is losing its individuals and is losing its stars. Sorry, continue.
The thing is, even on that, like as you said, I mean, yeah, without WCW, Vince would still be putting on garbage, like I don't know, whoever he had back in the mid.
Shawn Michaels, and so forth.
Yeah, sure, but like I mean, if you just stuck with Shawn Michaels, you add like Stone Cold or The Rock or The Undertaker, you're not getting what you have now. And looking at football now, it's like now it's got to a point where even in the Champions League, which I'm afraid of, it's like Pep literally hacked the Champions League and the coach to win it this year. He literally every single time I was looking, I'm like, okay, Leipzig, we'll go through. Bayern Munich, I'm like, well,
no. Pep, I don't think you can hack the UCL. Pep has hacked the domestic game.
Yeah.
He's hacked the Premier League. He's hacked the code.
No one is looking at the Premier League next season. And
nobody. No. Here's the thing. Basically, City decide who wins the Premier League next year. Exactly. If City don't want to win it, fair enough. Anyone. If City decides to, no one beats it. So who wins the league is dependent on whether Man City want to win the league or not. Because if Pep wants to win it, they win 4 in a row. It's
what about the Super League? What about the Super League? They're like, our players gonna look at it and go, do I want to play for this new made-up competition, or should I just go to Saudi where all of probably my friends are there, all of the luxuries and I don't know.
Because it's simple factors here. Of course, I love the Champions League, and of course, I respect the history and the integrity of the Champions League. But at the same time, I want to be entertained. So if we have a situation, and we're far from there now, but if we have a situation in maybe 5-10 years' time where the Saudi Pro League has really good players, entertaining players, and the games are entertaining, why wouldn't I have that as an alternative? I'll still watch European football, but why wouldn't I have that as if you're offering me basically WCW and WWF? You're offering me a different product.
We're getting the side. We're gonna have Saturday night wars basically with football, like the way we had the Monday night wars and wrestling and whatnot. So
SM is right. SM, you're 1,000% right, and I think you said something. Football is dying. And the reason, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like watching. I've promised myself never to watch the Bundesliga again. But then you know what? I always break my promises because I believed, and I feel.
Yes, you were foolish to believe. I told you not to believe. Yes, you were foolish. I told you not to believe, bro.
I literally tweeted out. I said I'm done with the Bundesliga. I'm canceling my ESPN Plus subscription. I'm not watching. And here I am again. And it's like, it's so sad because the best. Like I said, I'm a Disney Plus merchant because I like competition. I like when you're not. And the beauty of football is the unexpected. Well, Leicester City. The reason why I always look at the Leicester City one, the reason why I revere Jamie Vardy I think he's, in terms of the English striker, bro, Harry Kane cannot talk to him. Because I remember that year when Eden Hazard did nothing the whole entire season. And then the Battle of the Bridge said, fuck you to Tottenham Hotspur. And he literally said that. He said, I don't care.
Actually, no. Again, this was weird side notes, but look, this is just a Hangout, we can say anything. Does Vardy have a better legacy than Harry Kane?
Yes.
Easily.
Because not many people will admit that. Vardy has a better legacy than Harry Kane.
Jamie Vardy had a party, you know? He's having a party.
Yeah, no, because my thing, even if Harry Kane breaks the goal record, Vardy has a better legacy than Harry Kane.
He broke the record for the most consecutive goals on his route to winning the league.
But that's the key thing. But on his roots, because those goals, they meant something. Your goals have to always mean something. Wait, hold on. Let me quickly hit the dub, and then I'll come to the rest of you guys. So, it's also Elijah who's up here. Thank you for the dub. So Chin An played for Malaysia from 1969, to 1984. Made 252 international appearances as recorded by Malaysian FA. FIFA tax, as Ifman said, is real. Guys, I'm sorry. Cristiano Ronaldo, you don't hold the record. All because why should FIFA be the only ones who now hold the record? Why? If he has played 252 games, I'm sorry, Cristiano, you've got 53 more to be in the Guinness Book of Records. So please, Guinness Book of Records, do right by the world and put So Chin An in that Guinness Book of Records. Thank you for that tidbit, Elijah, man. From Zeno, Mbappe makes 100 million a year now. He won't be tempted. Even if he didn't, let's put that to one side. Even if he didn't make that, Mbappe knows that he's the guy. And Mbappe knows that Mbappe knows that football needs him. And he knows that I have to be in Europe because I'm the face of football. Mbappe is the face of football. So if you're the face of football, that's a whole different bag. And also, let's be real. Guys, do you know how big that bag EA Sports is? That EA bag is big. And he's been what? Is it 3 times in a row or 4 times in a row? How many times has he been on the cover of FIFA?
Since 21 plus 3. Yeah.
It doesn't matter because they're all shit anyways.
Record, yeah, those games are crap. I'm talking about the Mula. Elijah, talk to me. Saudi Pro League, can they say what's up?
Oh no, I was going to say the 2K is planning to take FIFA's license. So,
although I have one says though, because I've been playing NBA 2K3 on the PS5, bro. The way they're hustling you for transactions and so forth is messed up. And yes, my player is 5'7" and plays for the Orlando Magic, and I'm averaging 4 points a game. I know, thank you, Elijah. I should go for it.
You said 2K3, man. You're playing. Come on, man.
2K3.
I'm saying 2K3 in 2023 is crazy.
Wait,
2K3.
Wait, hold on.
You said 2K3. It's 23.
Is it 2K?
It's 23. It's
brick. All right, okay, yeah. Where's the brick?
And some people are saying that your 2K player, does he have hair or no?
Oh no, he's 5'7", he's bald, and I get blocked every time I take a shot. So it is what it is. No, I'm trying to prove a point, but yes, my bro, it is, bro. Literally every time I take a shot, I get, because basically they always put like a 6'6" guy on top of me. I basically try and pump fake. I just get blocked every time. You know, and also sorry, by the way, why do I have to run everywhere to everything? I'm gonna go meet this guy, the corner store. Go meet this guy. Just put everything in one freaking building, man. Look, put that on one side. Elijah, talk to me. No,
I was just saying this is reminding me kind of Saudi Arabia is using the NASL tax, their method of getting star players. So remember in the 80s, American soccer especially, they were trying to, yes, I'm saying American soccer because that's what it was. That's what they were calling it. So the North American Soccer League, what they did, they'd get all these players from Europe, from South America, from the big names. They'd give them very insane contracts, and that's what killed the league. And I hope with Saudi Arabia that does not happen, because, like, I get it. Saudi Arabian money is infinite. Let's just say it's infinite. It will last forever. But I don't think this is really, what's the word I'm looking for? Sustainable. That's how the NASL died, because remember when Pele first got
if you guys know the story behind this,
no. Let's just keep talking.
So the NASL, the reason why the NASL lasted only 16 years instead of being around now, is because they started giving out money just for fun. Pele, he was on $1.5 million a year. He was one of the most highest paid athletes in America. But he was playing football, honestly. And then there was Beckenbauer, Bobby Moore, and then Caniglia and George Best. And if I can remember, there's a couple other guys from the old First Division and maybe old La Liga that was playing in NASL. But they were just throwing money around. And if Saudi Arabia is going to be throwing money around like that, I don't think that's good for the league. I'd rather that they take the money, like they said, they're going to use $20 billion to invest in the league. Do that, foster up homegrown players, split that money evenly, and then put your league in a position to succeed. Because if they keep doing that, and like what Ricardo said with the allocation of spots in the AFC Champions League, well, that league's going to be they're going to fall apart, and then it's going to create even a wider gap between Europe and everybody else. Because at that point, if Saudi Arabia fails at this, that it's a W for Europe. In all honesty,
yeah.
So, and then once again, I just hope that it's being ran the right way. The thing, for example, like why I heard some people using the example of Messi coming to Inter. Well, you got to realize he's going to Florida, and in Florida there's no income tax. Florida, Texas, and I think 2 more other states have no income tax. Only New York and California have the highest income taxes. So it's really important that like it's cool if you want to choose legacy. There's nothing wrong with choosing legacy.
Yeah.
But I'm also tired of people saying, "Oh, bro, that dude's career is done because he went to go make money." Well, what's the point of having a job? The point of having a job is to make money. You don't work just for legacy. You don't work.
Yeah. No. It's
legacy.
I think someone even said like legacy doesn't feed your family. Generational wealth does.
No, you're not gonna eat newspapers and comp videos for breakfast. No. So
okay, so important. So let's just our last thing on be out of here because we said we'll talk about this. So Samasi, are Germany not going to make it through the groups in their own Euros next summer?
God forbid. I can't take it anymore. Suck Flick right now at the moment. You should be sucked in a fucking tunnel like Ancelotti. We are absolute garbage.
But here's the thing,
we lost 2-0 against Colombia. San Marino would beat us. San Marino. Here's my thing. First of all, respect San Marino, by the way. Respect those guys. Respect San Marino.
So my thing though is it a case of where Germany just have a really bad generation, or is it just a manager thing? Because my thing is that to not make it through the groups in 2 successive World Cups is crazy.
There are good players like Gündogan, Kimmich, and then
Musiala,
Rudiger.
Then there are okay players like Gnabry and Sane, and our fullbacks are totally shit. Our defense is okay. Malik Twaim is actually quite shout out to him, he's actually quite good. But my God, Flick and his fucking experiments. We have a different backline every fucking game. Different midfield, different attack, no chemistry, no passion, zero, nada. There is no plan. He should be sacked immediately. The only good thing about the Euros right now is our mascot. Our mascot is cute. That's it.
Oh, wow. Okay, Ricardo. Are Germany screwed ahead of their own Euros next summer? Are you actually worried? Because this is my fear.
It's oh my God.
No, because Ricardo, my fear is Germany either don't make it to the groups or they get knocked out. But no, my big fear is they don't make it out of the groups in their own Euros. That's my big fear. Like, what are you saying?
Nah, they'll make it out. I mean,
I
just don't. Yeah,
I dare them.
I just don't think Germany is going through a rough patch right now with the generation of players. They're not as of the same quality of the previous one, but I also think a lot of their talents that were supposed to be great haven't actually lived up to expectation, namely Kai Havertz.
Oh wow.
But I mean, there is Vert, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty cute. But look, they're not looking good. I don't think they're gonna win. Hansi Flick may be a fraud, and low key we might have to revisit.
But Ricardo, I'm sure you're an international savant. I'm sure you've been in that. But isn't it? How are we living in a world where Germany, knowing of their football heritage, 4-time World Cup winners? But see, I think pound for pound, I think Germany is the best performing team internationally.
Yeah. No,
in terms of how many trophies they won and how far they get into tournaments. So how do we live in a world where the best performing team internationally, successive World Cups, they don't make it through the groups?
Well, I can't explain that to you, but like I said, it's unreasonable. It's not reasonable to think that just because you're a footballing super nation means that every 10 years you're going to produce a great core of players. Like Brazil hasn't produced a great core of players in 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they had great individuals, sure, but Germany hasn't either. I think Germany has lost its way a bit because they've always been like, when you think of Germany as a nation, they've always been a very well-structured nation in everything they do. And that's often reflected in the culture, and that reflects on the way they built their football teams. They've always been seen like a ruthless machine. That's how I view Germany. And that maybe we're at the stage right now where they're just going through a bad time in their
because this is only similar to I think it was Euro 2000 and then 2004, and then you saw them pretty much totally rebuild, starting with World Cup in 2006.
Yeah,
because they had a bad Euro 2000. Okay, they got to the final in 2002 and they didn't have a very good Euro 2004.
Yeah, but that's the misconception about football. We always think that the big international teams, they're always great. They're not always great. Argentina wasn't always great. Brazil wasn't always great. Like Uruguay was once upon a time the footballing nation. They haven't been great since 1950s.
That's a nice kit, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's a nice kit.
It's a fire kit for low quality players. Germany have been.
Look at the fucking
going through it right now. Italy, 4 times World Cup winner, producer of some of the finest talents the sport has ever seen. They have been probably the biggest embarrassment in terms of.
Yeah, but here's the issue, Ricardo. Here's the issue. I look at the national team will always reflect the league, and it will reflect the best team of the league. So when you look at the 2014 World Cup Germany. But the core of it was Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich was strong. Bayern Munich was at that. It was at the 2013-14 season. When did they win was it the 2012-2013 season where they won? I don't quite. Yeah, 2012-2013 they won. They won the treble. So you got to look at it this way. And you look at Spain. Spain won 2010. They won it because the core of that Barcelona team. That 2011 Barcelona team was arguably the best team of all time. So you got to look at it, and you got to look at the key players for Germany. Joshua Kimmich had one of the worst seasons of his life last season. The guy was an utter joke. Leon Goretzka, the guy is being called a bodybuilder. That's literally what people call him.
Saudi Arabia, can you do something for me?
And just to go through the whole team, I'm not even going to talk about the joke of a footballer that Leroy Sané has become. He became a loser.
Speak on.
Yeah. Sané has come to Bollywood.
Sané's biggest.
Hold on. Yes, while you do make a point about Germany winning the World Cup, Spain winning the World Cup, it doesn't ultimately hold true when that logic that your national team will be good as long as your league is good, because that hasn't been the case with England.
But the England is an anomaly. Like,
we can't just be like anomaly. You guys have been championing that your league has been the best for the better part of 15 years. You guys have been shit.
No, that's fair enough. But that's fair enough. But what I'm saying is, when you look at the teams that win the World Cup, great teams. You even look at the team that won the 2014. Oh, Schweinsteiger, Philipp Lahm, Boateng, Neuer. Bro,
usually great international teams are a mixture of great talented players, not necessarily always have to be supremely talented, but quality players with a mix of a functioning system in a competent manner. Every successful international, like you can look at Argentina, it's probably one of the better examples too. When they lost those 3 finals, they had a talented squad, but they could not find somebody to put it together. There was no competence at top. When they finally got somebody who can match the competence and the quality of the players with the manager, which is Scaloni, they started winning. And Brazil haven't had that in so long. Germany haven't had that in so long. But
Ricardo, if I'm looking at the European teams, specifically European teams, I've said this. How weak the domestic league is, it will be detrimental to the national team. We've seen it with Juve. Juve's dominance was not good for the Italian national team. It wasn't. When the Italian national team was good, it was when Serie A was at its peak. Let's be real. Like you had Roma, you had AC Milan and Juve and Inter Milan. These guys were powerhouses.
Yeah, but that doesn't really work.
In 2014, Germany.
That doesn't really work.
Talent.
That doesn't really work because France.
Wait, hold on, Ricardo.
Well, I'm not saying everything you're saying isn't right, isn't wrong. Like there's a level of truth to it, but it ultimately falls short when. If we're being honest, who's the most dominant, the most talented national team in the world right now? It's France. But we sit here time after time, shit on Liga, and it's really a one-team league, even though to be honest, PSG really isn't that dominant in their league as people think they are. But nobody gives a fuck about Liga.
Yeah. But even with PSG, you even look at even in France. I understand France, but still, there's talent. I feel like even with France, they even produce better talent than the Bundesliga.
Okay. How many players in France's first team play in Uber Eats?
Mbappe.
So Mbappe. Who else?
Mbappe is the only one
in the first team.
No.
No, you have Gendouzi.
Kimpembe.
Kimpembe, boy.
Is Kimpembe a starter?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
So in France, in their starting team, who plays in the Uber Eats?
Mbappe. That's it.
It's really just Mbappe.
No,
Wait. So hold on, Elijah.
So it's Bryce Samba, Axel Diassi, Fofana, Yusuf Fofana.
Yes, Fofana.
And Mbappe.
But they're not starting.
Elijah, their names that I've never heard before in my life. So those guys are the things that start.
Kamavinga, Chouameni. Let's be honest.
No, obviously, they're from the league, but they don't play in the league.
No.
Yeah. So talk about guys from basically, it's nothing to do with the band's dominance. The issue is the talent pool just isn't. It just isn't right there. And look, the same thing happened in 04. So I just think what you're seeing from Germany is, it's even simpler than that. What was the issue? You see, the issue in 2018 was Joachim Löw shouldn't have been there. What's the issue now? You don't have a striker. So Germany, either they had an Oliver Bierhoff, either had a Gerd Müller, either had a Klinsmann, or they had a Miroslav Klose. So almost every single time they had a really good top striker. Bro, nobody even knew the name of the striker that came through. And Füllkrug.
You might be buying his next striker.
Also, when the Krug, and also the Krug, we also saw the kind of goal that the Krug scored against Spain when he was there. So the issue and this goes back to, actually all roads lead back to Pep. I admire what Pep has done. And he's been a great so. But the issue is, why don't we produce strikers?
literally, Pep lives rent free in you and Samasi's mind. Literally,
wait.
No,
Let me be very clear here. Let me be very clear here. Abdullah, I am saying that Pep, it's like it's not even being negative towards him. I just think that he's changed football for the worse, but he's not to blame. The issue is people are copying Pep, but you can't copy a guy as what he's good at doing. Only Pep knows how to succeed at what he's doing. So all these guys trying to copy Pep, you're never going to be able to do because he just knows how to do it way better than all of you guys.
Or maybe HH, or maybe HH. International football has declined massively, and it's not probably going to get back to the heights as we know it to be anymore.
No, Abdullah,
that could be another point because guys, if do we want to keep it a stack?
International football.
How good was the quality at this World Cup?
And also, can I just add as well?
Wait, hold on. So Abdullah, add as well.
And can I just add something as well? You know how you say it's not always the best team that wins a tournament, like you said with the Champions League.
Yeah.
The World Cup is a tournament. It's a certain amount of games. You don't have to be the best team or the best performing team in terms of style of play, the best players on the pitch. Let's be honest. No one predicted Argentina to win it. Let's be quiet.
Well, no. Actually, no. What's good? If we did the predictors, Argentina were the team that had the highest percentage when people did the predictions.
Bro, didn't they go undefeated for like a couple years as well?
Yes, bro, they won like 30. They were one of the favorites.
Yeah, they were. Let me see. When you look at their record coming, and also people did predictors, and when people did predictors, most people had Argentina winning the whole thing. But my thing is that when you look at the World Cup, I thought it was one of the most entertaining World Cups for entertainment. Entertainment doesn't mean quality. It was super entertaining. But what I saw was like, damn, the quality has fallen. Just the level of quality of teams and just general quality, it's fallen. Look, no disrespect to Japan or Morocco, but for Morocco making the semis and beating likes of Spain and Portugal, I'm sorry, that's a problem.
And HH, can I just say as well?
Yeah.
For me, I think the criticism on Germany is a bit too harsh. I think the most underrated.
They've been knocked out of the groups in two
World Cups.
Wait, hold on.
For me, I think the most overrated and the most overrated and underperforming nation for the past 12 years has been the Netherlands. First of all, you get to the final in 2010. Then in 2014, you get third. Then in 2018, you don't even make it. And then in 2022,
Czech Republic.
Have you seen the talent they have? Like they don't have crazy talent.
For me, they're the biggest frauds. And I'm a Dutch.
Did you see that?
I think the biggest.
Did you remember that 2014 team? That 2014 team was trash.
Hold on. Sorry, is that you, SM?
Yeah.
Go for it, SM. SM.
About Germany. I mean, usually when nations fail, the first thing I look at is there must be something wrong in the culture because let's take England, right? When England lost to Iceland, people were looking at them saying, "Yeah, you guys don't actually breed a culture of winners. You don't have a pool of people who are actually gonna go, yeah, we're gonna win this." With Germany, it's not that. It's just that if you have Kai Havertz as your striker, I'm not. No one's rating you. Like their best players are in their midfield. But if you have an attack of Havertz, Gnabry, and Sane, and by the way, no, I don't hate Sane, but since he's left Man City, I don't know what he's doing. But
again, Japan. Here's the thing. Like, you see, Japan did great. Japan were great, and they were amazing, and I fully respect what Japan did. But look at the amount of chances that Germany had. They just couldn't put them away. If Germany actually had a clinical finisher strike, of course they beat Japan. 100%.
They were losing to. Let's not forget, they were also losing to Costa Rica.
Yes, as well. So losing to Costa Rica, and the only George Johnson came through. So, sorry.
But when it comes to international football overall, I do agree with Abdullah that the Netherlands, no World Cup for the Netherlands is crazy. But when it comes to international football, let's not act like club football isn't ruining it. Like all these like extra games that teams have to play and all of this, and also like the Nations League just happened like a week or so. Like
yeah, no one. It's too much.
It's crazy. Like they're human beings. Like they can't. No one. They're not gonna perform. Well.
And also remember, people forget this. We had a World Cup in the winter, and only a few weeks, bro. How quick was the turnaround from the World Cup until the season started?
It was like a week or two.
It's too much.
It's just stupid. Like you can't run your players down the ground.
But here's the thing, though. This happens with everything. When something gets popular, people greed, and then the first thing that happens in football, you're just going to just bleed it dry. People just be like, just take more. I just going to do more.
We used the example before. We used the example before of like use like so the WCW, WF. Like actually look at WWE now. Like it's just it's lame. Like it's not the same because there's just too much of it. There's nothing original about it. So with international football, I saw it as like an escape from club football, something we can get different. And now it's just filler game. Like now it's just filler games. Like, oh, okay, great. Spain won the Nations League.
Yeah. It's too much.
You still have that.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Miguel Rabines, Hansi Flick is now a fraud. If Poch is the guy before the guy, I don't want Flick as an end game manager.
That's different.
See, my thing though is, look, I feel that let's give Flick till this Euros. That's because my thing though is remember, like, let's give him till the Euros because this World Cup it was a mess up, but let's be real, they performed better at this World Cup than they did in 2018. 2018 they were just trash.
They lost to South Korea.
They were awful. So at least in this one it was bad, but it was a better way to go out than that trash in 2018. So for me, I say give him this summer to see what it does. And look, I also don't know who Chelsea's guy is. Maybe it's a Zidane. Maybe hopefully it's Zidane to say what's up.
Stop drinking, bro.
No. Okay, guys, look, man, we'll be out of it. So, guys, so if there's another breaking thing, we'll have them. But if not, we may either see you guys maybe on Thursday or most likely on Saturday. Just go through on YouTube and just look at whenever I've got things scheduled. I'll always make an announcement on the community page or an announcement on Twitter for the next Hangout discussion. Hopefully, the next event will be Neymar signing for Chelsea, man. Hopefully, we pray. Guys, peace out, stay true, stay real. And remember, this is going to be on the podcast form. Peace.